like super just by like, cry at the better. The only I can think of was Batman though, so it wouldn't work.
Exactly.
Right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 112th edition of Knights in the Anime Table. This is it's a wonderful Sunday. Hope everybody's having good. Uh, let's just hope that things go good. Also, we're going to be talking a lot of different topics here, from gaming and all of that, and trying to keep it fun. But also, fair
Yes.
warning to everybody, we're gonna leave this out of today's broadcast because me and Bob and everybody have been bombarded by it all fucking day for the last the last 24 hours. So
Pretty
please,
much, and and besides, it's a fluid situation. No one knows what the hell's going to go on. I mean, that's a let the big boys do this, okay? Let them just start it in the first place. So
exactly. So
let them
please,
fix it.
with all the heavy due respect to everybody, let's keep the topics focused on the current of what we're talking about. And try not to deviate to politics just for today's episode until this whole thing blows over. That's all I ask. That is all I ask of you, the audience, and anybody wanting to come on. Leave your politics at the door, please. I'm only going to say it one time and one time only. Anyway, with that said, there's been a lot of stuff. There's been a lot of stuff coming out lately, Bob. The Gex remaster trilogy came out.
Okay.
And apparently, from my understanding, it got mixed reviews because they apparently some of the stuff they messed up the secrets in Gex 2. So now I'm very skeptical if I want to buy it or not, because I love the Gex series. I heavily played Gex 2 and I completed that one. That's the only one I ever 100%ed. I've only rented Gex 3. So now I might just play it for Gex 3 because I never played Gex 3. So I might as well just get it for the sake of 1 and 2 just to see how it stacks up to the original PS1 games. Because I on emulation, I do have Gex 2 and 3, but with Gex 3 though, every time I go underwater in the emulation, it kind of messes up where you can't see where you're going. So I'm mainly just going to get it for that.
Well, much like being underwater.
Yep.
It's realistic. No, there's a point though.
But it looks like, but it's good to see. It's good to see classic platformers coming back though.
Yeah.
Though I don't know how I don't know how the Bubsy remaster collection's gonna stack up though, because you cannot fix what can't be fixed in pertains to Bubsy 3D. You just can't. You can't fix it. I think they intentionally did that. Something tells me they intentionally made that game bad.
I think some games just aren't suited for 3D. Now, Fortnite, I think Fortnite would be perfect for VR. That would be interesting. Where you really like that, okay, you're in it. But I think the 3D craze has kind of gone by.
Yeah, it has kind of gone on the wayside and everything. But it also goes to show that, hey, why don't we remaster this game? I did play the Croc remaster. I did play that one, and I completed it too. I can safely say, and yes, that is correct, Bullet. Yeah, the soundtrack, it would drive anyone crazy. But I could safely say, though, Croc Remaster, the controls are a bit more fluid, and the difficulty spike is there, but it's not till much later in the later levels. It's not until World 3. It's not until World 3 where you notice the difficulty spiking up and everything.
So it's
and
not
it does it and it gets a bit more difficult later on. It took me a bit to complete that whole game,
Mhm.
but by World 3 and 4, I'm like,
Mhm.
boy, this is really getting it'll test your platforming
Mhm.
skills. It'll test them.
Okay, so it's
And
it's not Cuphead. Okay, it doesn't sort of think, oh my god, what am I gonna do?
no, it's not. No, it's not. But also the all this everything is still there
Mhm.
as you remember it. All the fuzzles are still in the exact same
Mhm.
areas, and as well as the hidden jewels and everything. They're
Mhm.
all still in the same place as you
Mhm.
remembered it.
Yeah.
Enemies are still in the same placements. Everything is still in place. It just looks more beautiful and more polished and
Mhm.
more
Yeah. Mhm.
and really good.
Okay.
And the GOG one I got, the good old gaming port I got,
Mhm.
that one came with the original one, so
Mhm.
which is a good deal, which was a good deal. I
Mhm.
was not going to complain, but
Mhm.
on top of that though, I had a lot of fun despite everything, and it was a fun game to play. And I do
Mhm.
recommend if you are looking for something to play, as
Mhm.
it was technically like inspired by Yoshi and everything. So
Mhm.
you could see where Argonaut Games got their inspiration from.
Okay.
Except without except not using the tongue and everything, it's the tail. So
Mhm.
I could see why they went with that. Hey, Sailor Outlaw George,
Someone was
hello.
probably offended by the tongue. I think.
Exactly. And I and but oh no, I had fun, and I'm very happy with everything that's coming out. I'm pretty excited for the new Marvel game coming out because it's an arcade beat 'em up, and it features She-Hulk and many others, including Captain Ass Cream and and everything.
Oh boy.
Hey, Batty Commander
Mhm.
and Third Floor, welcome, welcome, welcome. Uh, and but also I'm looking forward to it. I'm genuinely excited for it, and I hope it does well. I really hope it does well because I mean I heard Marvel Rivals is really good and everything, a lot of fun from what I've heard, and they actually kept the comic. They have some comic accurate characters in there, so I'm glad to know that that game's being taken care of as it should
Mhm.
be. And it's surprising how a Marvel game is still keeping the hope alive where the movies have failed, and it's just so it's just hilarious to me. That's why I was playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance because I had fun. I'm having fun on that game. I love playing as the other characters. And will there be a remaster of those games? I am not sure. It's completely up to Activision and Sony and Xbox, but good luck talking to them because they're
Mhm.
more of that live service crap and everything,
Mhm.
which is not sustainable. Oh, what about Call of Duty? Call of Duty is a separate thing. They're only successful based on single player or multiplayer. That's it. That's all it is. It's multiplayer for a reason. But in a way they actually got it right to a degree.
Mhm.
And I just hope that things go good in the long run for everything else. The reason why Crash Team Rumble failed um long term is because it did not get enough support. It didn't get enough support, and it wasn't structurally balanced. Because there were two because I have played it, and I have gotten almost all the character almost everybody, and I could safely say if this was given a bit more time with a few more updates, it would have been a really solid game. Now I get what they were trying to do, everything, because it was a Crash Bash. It was in the spirit of Crash Bash for the PS1, so I get what they were trying to do, which is a fine concept. I don't mind a multiplayer Crash Bandicoot game. I don't mind it one bit. Uh, and I was okay with it. It was fun. I had fun for what it was. and I agree. I will agree with you there. Third floor, yes, I agree. But also, you can't be upset about a concept that they tried to do, which is completely fine. They were trying something new, and it halfway worked. Like it halfway worked for what it was trying to do, and there are some good spots in there. There are some good things about that game that are there. There is a game in there. If it was given more time and everything, it would have been a solid, fun multiplayer game for everybody. But as it goes to show, and the funny thing is, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled had a way longer longevity. Everyone is still playing it. I still play it from time to time, and it's still there. Like everything is still there. Like the racing's still there, and the interest is still there. And that and people came up to me saying, "Hey, I want to play a Crash racing game. Which one do you recommend?" I would just tell them go for the Nitro Fueled. It's like the PS1 Crash Team Racing, but with more mechanics, more characters, more. It just looks nicer and much cleaner and smoother. But the PS1 I will forever hold up in high regard because that one was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that one to a high degree and everything, and I still do play it. And because I did do, I think it was part of one of my 16-hour game streams where I did get all the cups and everything, and then in the Crash Team, and then in the Crash Bandicoot series, I already got all the gems, all the crystals, and some of the relics in some of those games. So I'm crazy enough to do it because that's how insane I am. I'm also curious to know how other games are gonna fare up that are coming out with the announcements and everything. Because I do I do miss E3 for what it used to be and what it stood for, but now it's like, oh well, we have Summer Game Fest and everything, and which is nice if Jeff Keighley can keep his ego in check a little bit here and there. But surprisingly, though, he does let the person talk and everything, so I will give him credit. Um, but time will tell on some of these games. Did not care for Black Ops 7. I did not care for Black Ops 7. I will state that right now. I did not care. The other games already had my attention. Black Ops 7 at the end, it didn't sit with me. I'm like, no, I have no interest. I'm retired, guys. I am retired from Call of Duty and everything. I am retired. I'm done. I don't have it in me anymore to play on the multiplayer, play Warzone and everything. I just don't have it in me. Oh, the felt boxing. Yeah, that one was good. I like the callbacks to Mike Tyson's Punch Out and everything. That was really good. And the puppetry was really good. I could see that game was really made with love. You could tell it was a lot of fun. I like the trailer for it. I cannot wait to see how it comes. What more we're gonna see and everything. Um, but like I mentioned, though, I am done with Call of Duty. I am done. Those my days are behind me. After Modern Warfare 2019, and after Cold War and all that, my body is done. I can't sit there for so long on Call of Duty because it would probably cause me to have an aneurysm and everything.
There are
The
too
reason
many
why the
too
reason why
many
I'm,
Fortnite players doing Call of Duty shit anyway. We don't need to go to Call of Duty.
which is why I play Fortnite. My Bob and Raquel are the reasons why I'm back in Fortnite for obvious reasons. They got me back for the Star Wars series, so I'm like, you know what? Fine, I will fire it up and ever since then, I've been having way more fun. I've been having way more fun despite some questionable things, but we did get some victories here and there. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
will say, and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to
Mhm.
admit that I am a Fortnite gamer from time to time. But you will not see me. You won't see me stream it because for some weird reason, whenever I fire up Fortnite, all the desktop icons go to the second monitor, and I don't know why. I don't know why that is, but I'm
Mm,
just rolling with it because
that's
I'm
a new one. Okay.
because all my desktop icons, like
Mhm.
from the logs to Steam to all the other ones, including Epic Games, they shift from this screen over to there. And I don't know why. I never had that happen
I
before on.
think I had something similar there, but what I got is I shifted some icons that I'm gonna need. If I'm running something on there, I put them over on the other screen, and I think that seemed to stop it because no, these are already set, so no changing things.
Exactly. I don't know if it's
So it might be a
oh,
bigger.
I'm not going to worry about it,
Yeah.
but in terms of that, I am not going to
Mhm.
stream it because I
Yeah.
don't want to fight with I don't want to fight with
Mhm.
Streamlabs trying to recenter
Mhm.
the capture display and everything. And that's okay, Bullet.
Yeah.
It's a preferable
Mhm.
taste.
Yeah.
I mainly do it because I have Bob and a few of my friends with
Mhm.
me, so that's my main reason. I do it
Mhm.
offline. What you see me stream online in terms of gaming is what I'm actually playing
Yeah.
from here on out. But I keep Fortnite offline because I don't want to be stream sniped. I've had that twice
Yeah. No, you will
on
see him on
Call.
my
Uh,
streams when he's playing, but yeah.
I've had that happen twice, both with Call of Duty and Fortnite. I've
Mhm.
had that happen twice,
Mhm.
and that's what really sealed the deal for me on that
Mhm.
one.
Now, occasionally be on streams that I'm running now because we're counting them. And oh, there we go. But listen, as far as I think the issue of why is Fortnite the biggest game in the world? What things over Call of Duty? Call of Duty it's a little too realistic, frankly. As
I mean,
far as,
I will.
you'll
I'll
get
play.
PTSD playing Call of Duty. Okay.
I mean, I'll play. I will
Mhm.
play the campaign and everything. The campaign and zombies, I am completely down with and everything. I have no problem with that. I have no problem
Mhm.
with like if anything, I would probably just do it for the sake of campaign and zombies. But
Mhm.
that's roughly it. That's all I'll mainly do on Call of Duty. I cannot do multiplayer anymore because I am long past that, and it is not worth shouting into my
Mhm.
mic and raising my blood pressure and everything to where I might have an aneurysm live on stream.
We don't want that.
Uh, and Fire Devil said Vietnam flashbacks. Too
Yeah,
soon, too soon.
I know it's been almost 50 years since then. It's been about 50 years since the war ended. Yeah, it's been,
But I do have fun with the other games. So I went back to the PS to
Mhm.
the early PlayStation 2 Call of Duty. It's very different. Like Call of Duty Big Red 1 and everything. I went back to that and I'm like, this is very different. Where am I? Because when you go back to the older COD games, like the PS2 era before they became multiplayer driven and all that, you will see a stark difference between those and then Black Ops 6. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's why I quit Warzone and multiplayer in general. I I can't do it anymore, Bullet. I just can't. Battlefield's a different story, and Fortnite's a different story because if I'm with people, then I'm in a better mood. Like you guys put me in a better mood and everything. If it's by myself, I get easily frustrated and get easily angered. But I've been getting better and better at that. Um, Oh, Modern Warfare, yes. On the PS3, that
Mhm,
was a lot of fun too. I had a lot of fun
mhm,
with Modern Warfare on the PS3 back
mhm,
then, like MW3 and all that. I had a great time with that one. I had no problems.
mhm,
Black Ops 2, I will forever hold. If Black Ops 2 has a place in my heart because I have met well because of three quick points. One, it had the best um it had the best story following the first Black Ops and everything. The multiplayer was a lot of fun. Aside from if you want to exclude the overpowered uh DS50 sniper rifle and the XPR 50 ones too, and the ballista, if you want to exclude those. But the score streaks were much more funner. Hardline was, and the thing about it is the perk system the perk system in that game was way more simplified and it was way more easier to understand. Like when you go and play, whereas like Hardline, you get instead of say the UAV being worth 400 points to get to call it in, it's now 300 points and so on and so forth. Simple, straight to the point. Where and the care package and then the hunter killer drone and then the VSAT and all of that, those were easy to understand. And and also I think my favorite weapons on there was the Vector K10, the the AN-94, the MTAR. Depending on the attachments, it's a good gun. Depending on the attachments you put on it, because the MTAR was actually a good gun. The Type 25, that thing burns ammo. That thing burns ammo. No matter what
mhm,
you do, it burns. And then the Scorpion, even with the extended mag, you would probably blast through that. You would run out of ammo faster. Um, Infinite Warfare was terrible.
mhm,
I get what Black Ops I get what Advanced Warfare was trying to do. I understand that because it was like it was new, and I get what they were trying to go for, but they went about it in a better. I feel like they went about it in a better way. Yeah, it took some time getting used to, but we still had boots on the ground here and there from time to time. But I get what I get what Sledgehammer was trying to do at that time. Looking back at it, I understand they were trying something different, which I really can't fault them for or anything, because if you're trying something different, then go for it. Infinite Warfare, I feel like, came out at the very worst time, at the tail end when
mhm,
all of us were so burnt out with the futuristic stuff and
mhm,
everything. That's why Cold War, um, World War II, not Call of Duty World at War, the other one, were way better because they went back to what made Call of Duty good.
mhm,
And that was a nice change of pace, and I liked that direction. Um, with that said, I feel like we were probably too harsh on uh on Advanced Warfare. I get what they were trying to
mhm,
do and all that. I get it. Black Ops 3 with the specialist, again, same concept and everything. I do like some of the abilities. Others I feel like were kind of a bit overpowered
mhm,
looking at the hacker one, because I had now I am guilty of this. I am guilty.
mhm,
When Black Ops 4 came out and they had that the hacker, I'm trying to remember her name. If somebody remembers that character's name, please tell me in the chat. When she first came out And when I unlocked her, because you know me, I was a huge spender back then in the Call of Duty
Mm,
days. A huge spender. Like I would buy the passes and all that
mhm.
shit. When I got her hacking abilities, I kind of went overpowered. I took away their attack helicopter, their UAV, and all of that fun stuff. And we won that game, I would say, in no less than 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, mind you, where it takes 20. Like like back in the old days, it takes 20. But I do hail Black Ops 2 as the definitive COD. I'm glad that it's still getting love after all these years. I'm glad about that. I do like the TAC 45. That one was my favorite. That one was my favorite handgun to use because I was such a monster with it. Get me in the right map and I will run with it. I do like the AN-94. I did like a few other guns. The Remington, I will say it was vastly overpowered at close range, so I could see why people were rage quitting on that. I could see the why. I am guilty of a few of the rage quits because I heard a lot of things that I've been called a lot of things that I am not going to repeat here, and I'll leave that at that. But at least it was way better, and I had a lot of fun and everything. I do miss the fun of it because back then you had fun, and all you needed was an internet connection, and that was it. That's why the PS3 is hailed as the best system that came out after the PlayStation 2. Oh yeah, the SKS, I remember that one. Holy crap. I remember that gun. I do remember that one. That one got me more times than I can remember. Um all in all, I feel like if Call of Duty went back to fun and everything, it could work. But but with Activision and PlayStation having their way, I highly doubt we'll get back to those. But with everything else, I am genuinely excited for all the coming games that are coming out from Mouse PI Detective um to to all the fun games. And with the remasters as well, I feel like some of them do hit the mark and everything. I cannot wait to see what we're gonna get next. I am very excited for Tony Hawk 3 and 4. I'm very excited. I saw the gameplay. I saw the gameplay trailer and everything. I did see. Oh wait, the gameplay trailer was not out yet. My bad. Let me step back a minute. I did see the updated trailer for it. We're getting the Ninja Turtles. Mikey's in there, which makes perfect fucking sense because he does ride a skateboard. He does have a skateboard in the Ninja Turtles.
I
He
think they
does.
all do in the. Mike is the enthusiast, but I think they all do skateboarding.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely, Matt. Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm glad that got its day in court and everything. I'm very excited for that one, Kim. Now wait, Matt, you better be streaming that game. You better be streaming that. I would happily come over and watch. I cannot wait though, and also, uh, seeing the different games come out. I'm pretty excited, and also we're getting Bam Margera and we're getting Doom Guy and everything. I cannot wait. Oh, well, yeah, you do have a point there, Bullet. You do have a point there. Um,
Hold on, I must yell at wife. I'll be back.
yep, go ahead. But I'm ready for Atomic Heart. I'm also excited for Atomic Heart 2 to come out, and then Mortar Shell 2, that looks very interesting. And of course, everybody, Code Vein 2 is coming next year. Bam Margera, he's coming back, and he looks good. He looks healthy. He looks
He
very.
definitely looked better than he did a couple of years ago. That's for sure.
I'm glad he turned his life around and everything, and that he's actually finding his happiness again. And seeing him get on the skateboard and the behind the scenes, I
Yeah,
felt like
I mean, Bam was always one of my favorite Jackass members for sure, man. I mean, dude was oozing charisma.
yeah, well, and given everything that's happened to him, I felt very sad for him. He lost his best friend, his uncle passing, and all the crashes and burns and everything. But that man made a great comeback, and I'm very happy he got clean, got his life together, and he's coming back. He came back stronger than ever, and it shows. And I'm like, my hat's off to him. It
Oh,
just seen
he definitely earned that happy ending moment for sure, dude.
and that smile on his face when he got done skateboarding, that was genuine. That was genuine happiness right there. Like he's like happy and everything, and it makes my heart proud to see people come back from all of that. And I cannot wait to play this game. I cannot wait to play it. I love how Tokyo looks. I love how Cruise Ship looks. I love how Foundry looks and everything. I cannot wait till July 11th.
Man, that's pretty much going to be with the one game that's going to get kids back into skateboarding again. Because, good lord, I have not seen a single skateboarder as of late. As of late, like, god damn,
And
is
we're
current
get,
is current year really that lame? Jeez.
we're more excited for Tony Hawk than Call of Duty. That should say something.
Yeah, I know,
Because
man. I know.
they put Black Ops 7 at the end, and I just clicked, and I was just about to leave. I was about to leave the stream and everything.
Yeah, and you know what
I'm like,
you know what they put in Call of Duty now? Fucking Seth Rogen.
ew. No,
Yeah,
I'd rather go with you know what Tony Hawk unveiled in their trailer? Michelangelo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on a skateboard.
yeah.
I'm more
Granted it's
excited.
current. Yeah, granted it's current year Michelangelo, but yeah, we'll take what we can get at this point.
Personally, I'd rather be excited for current year Michelangelo than a Seth Rogen. I'd rather be
Yeah,
excited.
Yeah, I like I said, I'll take what I can get because and compared to Seth Rogen, I think I'll take current year Michelangelo uh, from the from the current year from the current year TMNT movie with Black April O'Neil. Ugh.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Are you excited for Code Vein 2 though, Matt? Are you excited for Code Vein
Co-
2?
Haven't played Code Vein, but I do like what I see.
And also Atomic Heart 2 coming out. That game is something.
I honestly don't care for Atomic Heart. To be honest, it just reeked of quirky, out of worlds humor, and that's not my go, dude.
That's okay. There's a lot of games that were announced, and I'm actually legitimately excited for because we do need fresher games and everything, and also it's good to see the indie scene getting its shine
Oh
too.
yeah,
With
speaking in the indie scene, ever heard of Earthium?
no, I have not.
Oh, look up Yuzo Koshiro Eartheon, and you'll know what the fuck I'm talking about. Trust me, it's a throwback to everything awesome about Sega Genesis shmups.
Nice. Um, Also, Towa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree is coming out this year in September. So
Yeah,
I'm
and I'm still wondering when the fuck the Scramble Vice is going to be releasing this year, because I know it's going to be releasing this year, but I just don't know when, because good lord, it's one of my most anticipated games of the year, because this gave me all the Assault Suit Falcon and Front Mission Gun Hazard, with just a hint of Pat Labor and Armor Trooper Votons to boot vibes.
exactly. Also, I don't know how big you are on Sonic right now, but I am loving Sonic Racing Crossworlds. I'm very excited for that one because not only is Hatsune Miku going to be there, but
I'm just gonna say this: I prefer the Sonic Racing over Mario Kart. That hot take, I know, but it is what it is, man.
Man, I am probably gonna I'm probably the weeb in me is probably gonna main Hatsune Miku as my
I'm
race.
more I'm more likely to main an Ichiban dude.
Oh yeah, I saw him too, and I thought, Sonic Crossworlds took a page from Crash Team Racing Nitro Field with the guest appearances because we had
Oh, hey there,
Spyro.
Eagle.
Hey, Matt.
Eagle.
It's
Hey,
been a
Yoshi.
while. Well, it's been a
Yeah,
hot minute.
I'm heading home next Sunday morning, so
Oh, it's next Sunday. I thought it was this.
no, next Sunday.
Oh, okay. Because I got confused with your timing of the announcement. I thought it was going to be today that you were home and everything.
No, I won't be here next week because we're traveling on Sunday.
Ah, that makes sense. But I also but also we also got Joker from from the Persona series joining in, and Minecraft as well.
I
So,
don't care about Minecraft, but
aside from that,
Yeah, I was gonna say
I do like Joker. I do like Joker from Persona 5 though.
yep, and he's going to be a racer in this game, so I'm legitimately excited. Sonic Crossworlds has my attention in terms of the racing genre. It has my attention, and it does have my wallet. My wallet is going to
but
go
does it
to it.
have your fat hand?
With Hatsune Miku, yes.
Yeah.
And
Also,
and
should also remind people that Final Fantasy Tactics, the Evil East Chronicles, is coming our way, and you can pretty much bet it's gonna be on my Christmas list.
oh yeah.
Look what my niece gave me.
Yay.
Horny toad.
Also, friendly reminder, ladies and gentlemen, a friendly reminder by our good friend Bob. He posted this at the top of the hour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As if we were
leaving that out.
As if we were even in remote danger of ever or doing just that.
Let's not.
Well,
It's I don't care honestly either way. I don't want to talk about it on here. There's places I'll address that shit, but not when I'm here trying to unwind with friends.
Yeah, I mean we're gushing about nerd shit, not talking current year
Hey,
bullshit.
I'm all happy that Russell Stover's has increased the quality of their sugar-free chocolate, so it actually tastes like real chocolate.
Ooh,
Can we
okay.
acknowledge that it's almost entirely made with purified, no sugar. There's almost no carb counts, nothing, and the calories aren't even that high per piece. And it tastes like the real thing.
Speaking of which, Matt, I did go to Comic-Con on June 4th to the 6th, and I don't know if I showed you my stuff yet, but if you look behind me, I have another flag up there. The American
an American flag and a got milk flag.
Guess who's on the American?
They're both got milk flags. Look at the other one closely.
Yeah. Well, the American flag definitely got the
I
definitely got the
recognize him
biker chick from.
instantly.
Definitely got the biker chick from Golden Boy.
Yeah, bing,
Good
bing, bing.
boy.
Give Matt a brownie. Give Matt a brownie and a gold medal. I'm glad you took. I had to get that one. And guess what, Matt? They only had that was the last one they had at that booth.
You lucky bastard.
And then that one I got from Game on Expo, also the last one they had.
I will also respond to the comment in chat going, yeah, I also can't eat those. I can't eat sugar.
But then that's not all that I got from this year's Comic-Con at Fan Fusion. I got this guy right here.
Metal Sonic?
I have Robotnik right there. I had to get him. And also, Matt, I now have four Gundam Legos.
What? Gundam. Please tell me you're joking on the Gundam Lego part.
Yeah, Bullet, what came down to is finding out that I'd always had a mild type 1, but I had a severe allergic reaction to meds and became overnight extremely diabetic because my organs tried to fail. So I don't eat any sugar and hardly any carbs, do I, Anime?
That is correct.
Which is why finding ones that I can actually eat that are chocolate makes me go, chocolate.
But yes, Matt, your eyes are not deceiving you. Your eyes are not deceiving you.
They actually make Gundam Lego figures.
I got two more in there right now.
They actually make Gundam Lego figures, and no one ever bothered to tell me.
I could just hear Matt's wallet shaking in fear right now. I could just hear it right now.
They made Gundam minifigures, and no one ever thought to fucking tell me, not even my brother-in-law. Ooh.
I had to get this one. I had to.
I don't blame you.
And also, you're going to like this one. It's Mysterio from Spider-Man.
Ooh. Okay.
The good one. The good Mysterio, not the garbage one we have nowadays. And also, I had to get this legend right here. I had to get this legend.
Oh, Count Dooku.
Yep. I saw it and I had to have it. I wants it and I want it now. I did get Cad Bane as well because I do like Cad Bane from the Clone Wars. I loved him in the Clone Wars. He was one of my favorites. This is he's up there with Jango Fett and everything. I will die on that hill. I also got Vegeta. I got Vegeta as well. Matt, if you saw, let me see if I can pull.
Yes, fire. Yes, fire.
Give me a minute here.
Yum, yum, yum.
Matt, if I could direct your attention to the screen. This is all the Lego figures I have.
Damn.
I have a lot, as you could tell. As you could see, I got from Looney Tunes to One Piece, to Star Wars, to The Simpsons, and of course Star Wars and Voltron, and Batman as well. I
actually have a Lego Voltron.
I'm gonna put that back down before this falls.
Probably should get back to building my Lego Voltron sometime.
I need to build that Tokyo skyline one that I have. I need to build that one and get it framed and get it in there and everything, because that's gonna be fun to unveil. But Matt, going back to everything. What else? What other game are you excited for this year? So, what's your opinion on the Resident Evil trailer, the new one that's come? What's your opinion?
Don't care. Resident Evil's fucking dead. It's over with. It's dead, Jim. By the way, I prefer the older games up to, let's say 6. Yeah, 6 was actually pretty good. 7 was kind of, 8 was just like, nah, I'm not feeling it. 2 and 3 remakes are just whatever. 4 remakes was unnecessary.
I personally, out of the 3 right now, 2 is my favorite because it went back to the horror aspect, which we do.
Yeah,
which
I mean,
was
I
sorely missed.
I will say that 2 remake was actually pretty good, pretty decent, but
3 just killed.
I'm just gonna say this. I prefer the OG Resident Evil PS1 trilogy.
Yeah, I did not like how butchered they made Nemesis. They made him a joke. I'm like, this is Nemesis.
That's basically why I prefer the OG PS1.
Nemesis in the PS1 gave me more gray hairs as a kid than this one.
Oof! Tell me about it, man.
I felt.
How the fuck do you fuck up Nemesis, man?
I found Mr. X way more terrifying in the remake compared to the Nemesis remake. I was more terrified of Mr. X.
Oh, same here.
I was like running. I was legit running away. When he lifted up that helicopter and everything, I'm like, not today, not today, not today. And I just booked it to the nearest door. Like, I booked it. I'm like, not today, not today. It just goes to show that and I liked Mr. X in the RE2 remake. He still holds up in the PS.
Well, speaking of Capcom Anime Night, you know what else is coming out that I'm actually stoked for? Onimusha.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is coming
They're finally making a new Onimusha after what feels like a goddamn eternity.
Oh, precisely that. I'm very excited. Because it's going. It's a night because they looked at the success of Ghost of Tsushima and they're like, why are we not funding this?
Yeah, not to mention
they saw the Ushimura title and they're like, why are we not funding this?
And not to mention, Onimusha is one of my favorite Capcom properties next to Mega Man X0 specifically.
I bought the complete collection. The older games kind of made me rage quit. I was getting frustrated.
Oh, the Mega Man X games?
I've just always had a weakness for Street Fighter.
but it's like the more classic ones. But I do respect the craft and everything. But the spike difficulty trying to get through everything just to get to even have enough health for the boss is what did me in.
Yeah,
I tried.
That's basically classic gameplay 101, dude. Either get good or go home, dude.
But I could safely say I have played the original Mega Man games. I can add that to my experience, my gamer experience, though. I could safely say I did. There is one game though that made me rage quit live on stream, and that is Death by Degrees for the PS2.
Yeah, that game was just kind of whatever.
That boss fight and keep in mind this was the first boss fight, Matt. The first boss fight, the dude has guns, and you have to parry him somehow into the spikes. Meanwhile, his bullets pack a punch, even on easy mode. I switched it up to easy mode to see if there was a difference. There was none. Except for a bit more, and except for a bit more health. And you can ask anybody who was there that night. I raged quit. I was mad, legitimately mad. That's why I put on Scarface The World Is Yours, because in that game I wanted to commit a lot of felonies that I cannot do in the real world.
Honestly, anime, that's one of the great ironies with gamers in general. We use the games to take out our stress on, but we also are rageaholics who get stressed at our games too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's basically one of the big conundrums of being a gamer. I mean, we're rageaholics when it comes to playing video games, but when it comes to relieving our stress, there's just no greater equalizer than video games.
Matt, I don't know if I showed this to you or not last time, but I don't know if you were here for the last episode of Knights of the Anime Table. I can't remember for the life of me if you were or not. Over the Comic-Con weekend, I got to meet the storyboard artists and producers of Batman the Animated Series.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude.
And I got to meet the creator, Alan Barrett of.
Are you trying to get Matt a stiffy?
Yes, I am. I have signed the premiere poster for Batman the Animated Series. I got it signed by Dan Reba, Kevin Altieri, and Alan Burnett. All three of them produced episodes for Batman of the Animated Series.
Oh, nice.
And also Alan Burnett also created Batman Beyond.
You're trying to get him to have a jealousy boner.
And he's probably
my dick can only get so erect.
It's a good thing he's off camera. Yeah, might be poking in there.
I had to get this one signed, and this one is by far part of my my prize collection of things. It will get framed, and it will have a.
That's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm about to say there, Anime Night. You better frame that bitch.
Yeah,
and it's gonna have a little plaque on it that says signed by the producers of Batman the Animated Series.
It also have a sign next to it that says "Fatal" and Matt can't touch this.
But Matt, they also had the title cards and everything, and also a few of the people were actually drawing some of the characters too.
Yeah, that's basically why I hold true that Batman the Animated Series is one of the last great animated series we've ever got, alongside X-Men Animated Series and Exo Squad.
Which is why I tell people, please go visit these people at conventions. Go visit them. I got to talk with Alan for 20 minutes.
Anime, I'm not going there on a bunch of crowds of idiots who want to all laugh at me when I start clicking because they're pissing me off.
That's entirely up to you.
If you can handle crowds of weirdos dressed as strange characters, then go to a convention. For God's sakes, get out there.
Like me, being in a crowd makes you start having weird, sporadic outbursts that will freak everybody out. Go to comedy shows; they're more accepting of it.
You'll become part of the show.
Yeah, but here's the thing about anime.
Might even happen a video to go viral.
Some of them may be woke as shit.
It's only got 500,000 views, April.
Only 500,000,
Yeah, here's the thing about anime. Here's the thing about conventions. Some of them may be woke as shit, so I kind of have to be really careful as to which cons I'm going to.
Anime cons, I don't think so, because
the other day I was
been kind of a bulwark. We're not doing this
niece, Robert. The other day I was out with my niece, and I had a bit of a meltdown in the store. It was sticking bad. And about time I verbally take penis juice loudly, I heard somebody from around the corner go, "The video!" and come around the corner looking for me. That was a moment.
Hey, anyone else stoked for Ninja Gaiden 4?
I don't know. I have not kept up with shit for several months. Life's been a bitch.
I am excited for Ninja Gaiden. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's definitely action game of the year material for me, dude.
See, and I'm not an action game person. I either do RPGs that are logic based or world building because action's not good with my tremors.
Ah, okay.
Well, that and random ticks where my head and my hands start jerking sideways while I'm trying to do something.
That could be a problem in an action situation, especially if your team's dependent.
Plus, most action games use very flashy effects.
Yeah, like, why did you shoot the tree? I didn't know. You know,
why'd you shoot your partner? And some games allow friendly fire. I mean,
yeah, that's something that Fortnite ended rather quickly because some guys were taking advantage of taking out the entire team, getting the gold. And
yeah, but I can pretty much tell y'all, Final Fantasy Tactics is pretty much my most hyped, my most hyped game next to let's say Expedition 33.
Yeah. I can answer the question about why celebrities charge this much for autographs. And there is a practical reason there.
But do you justify Mark Hamill charged with $500?
Wow.
20 years ago, maybe, you know?
No, I don't justify anything that asshole does. He's been an asshole way too long. Anyway,
But 20 years ago, before it was publicly known he was an idiot, but you know.
I knew he was an asshole 20 years ago. What the hell are you on?
Most people, though. It wasn't publicly known.
I like his acting, but he's still a piece of shit.
Yeah, fuck Mark Hamill.
But in general, I remember I went to conventions back in the day when it's like, like I said, it's StarCon Denver. Nichelle Nichols was seen sitting on the floor in the hallway surrounded by fans just talking. You didn't pay for autographs, or it wasn't so much.
When you work in these kinds of places, be it Comic-Cons, art shows, craft fairs, all that kind of stuff, you don't only pay a booth fee, which sometimes can be really high to pay a booth fee.
Yeah.
But you also most of them take a percentage of your sales too.
Yeah.
Plus their setup, plus there's all the other. It's an expensive endeavor to work these shows to hopefully make money back.
Yeah.
I've done it. I've done craft shows. I've done some that were highly successful, but it's a bitch. Yeah. My best successful one, I sold over 50 of those stupid little custom dream catchers I make. And most of them I was making on the fly at the sale for people who wanted them custom.
Yeah.
That one was a bitch. I was working hard.
Hey, I saw her make this. So, but as far as like Shatner was saying, but some guy would come up with like a whole stack of photos. No. Because you're just going to go walk right over there at the table and sell them for twice. No, screw you. No. And that's what a lot of them are dealing with. They'll sign it, think it's for some fan, and it turns out no, it's going to be sold. 10 minutes later at the table across the hall. So it's a way of kind of equalizing and think. No, I'm getting paid first. It keeps
a little bit of the crooks and the scammers out. It helps make some of the cost of running a booth and running a fair thing back. It does all kinds of shit. And unfortunately, it's a necessary evil because it does make it harder for genuine fans who don't have a lot of money to be able to do this stuff. But it's something I understand functionally. Yeah,
I kind of got the tail. I managed to get Major Barrett's autograph for nothing. It was at LA Con. She wasn't supposed to be. She just showed up. Just work out. Hey, Major Barrett's at the Lincoln Enterprises table. That's fine. She was just holding court, and got a signature from her and didn't pay anything for it.
Yeah, but you're old, Bob. I'm not.
Yes, and this was also would have been 88, I think, 89. I think so. Yes, it was a while.
Let's just let the people out there decide that I'm not very old, right, Matt?
It was a Creation Con before Creation became the monolith monster that it is now.
I'm just a sweet and innocent little angel. I don't know anything about all this. Fuck you.
Yeah, there goes that thread.
Welcome to the.
Yeah. No, there were hints though, because it was just main events, dealer's room. There were no panels, like stuff I'm used to see at like Starfest and StarCon. So in that school,
I should also mention that there is Super Robot Wars Y coming our way. So anyone who's a Super Robot Wars fan, me included, should definitely pay attention.
Wow.
Okay.
You eat penis. Wow.
Well, I just had some okra and there was some meat in there.
Just remember, I'm sweet and innocent.
I had some gumbo here.
Tiki, however, Tiki doesn't believe he's innocent.
No.
And yes, to those out there wondering, it is very, very common for people with Tourette's to name their ticks.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget how old Matt is, but I thought Matt was like right about my age.
I'm 42.
Yeah,
so
basically for the light, the universe, and everything.
So in the ballpark, yeah.
Yeah, in the ballpark.
Yeah.
I got told again the other night that I was too young to be my niece's aunt, and then B, told on it in a chat the other night with my photo on it that I was too young to be commenting on people who grew up in the 80s and 90s. So my literal response was, how old do you think I am? What, 25?
Mm-hmm.
Look, I know I don't have wrinkles, but holy shit, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I have wrinkles yet, so I'm definitely looking mid-20-ish, I think.
The amount of times people assume I'm in my 20s is actually really scary.
I met a guy on the train.
It's just weird. And I can't buy Benadryl or shit without being carded. I can't even buy rated R.
Yeah, but look at it this way. According to Zoomers, 20 something is rather ancient.
Yeah.
I'm
also 41 there,
but this guy's, I'm old enough to remember found, Bohemian Rhapsody in Wayne's World. Look at the gray.
The reason it's funny.
Well before Wayne's World.
When I was 15, everybody assumed I was in my mid-20s. And it just hasn't changed since then.
Now it's reversed.
No, it's either they assume the same age or like a year or two less.
You've reached final form. That's it.
Yeah, Lilith, I'm a medical freak, and these guys can attest to that. So I get that. Yeah. I'm allergic to my own tears. Come on.
Yeah. That's the least of the issues.
No, but that is one of the weirder ones, actually. That one's like hyper rare.
Yeah.
Hey. And I love all the guys who go, well, if you were just skinny, you'd look like, no, if I was just skinny, I'd still look big.
Yeah.
I was skin and bones with my ribs sticking out for a while, going through anorexic issues. I still weighed 200 pounds and wore at the time double F cup bra. Skinny did not make me light. I still weighed 200 pounds. I couldn't have kids to begin with, so I feel ya. So it's like, life is what it is. It's the people who get mad at anybody who talks about medical issues are weird, and the people who think that talking about it makes you a victim of it. No, saying it's defeated you, letting yourself dwell in it to the point where you can't have fun in life, using it as a crutch to win fights with people constantly. That's what makes you a victim. Being able to go through hell, to go through issues, to go through abuse, to go through medical issues, and stand there and go, yeah, well, fuck you. Yeah, this issue's wrong with me, but who cares? I'm overcoming it. These are the things I do. You can do it too. I believe in you. That's not being a victim. And not being a victim does not mean that we have to not talk about issues. Yes, survivors. There's a difference between a survivor mentality and a I'm not ashamed of what's wrong with me mentality versus bragging about it and being an eternal victim.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a pretty extreme difference, isn't it, Bob?
Yeah.
Put me up against some of those whiners out there and watch me crush them, right?
Fun for the entire family.
Wow, my boobs are huge.
I don't know. Can we swerve this into a music thing? Got a post on Twitter, well, X, whatever you call it this week, from Andrea Nobre. If you're a rock fan and no female rock singers and bands, which ones come to mind? I'll start with Sister Rosetta Tharpe, Heart, pre-80s, Runaways, L7, Pat Benatar, Blondie, Evanescence, Within Temptation, Nightwish, Janis Joplin, Guano Apes, Garbage. Who else? That's a good start.
Atar Gaddis, After Forever, Revamp. Let's go through this.
I threw out Hailstorm.
Tassir, Hailstorm.
Mm-hmm.
God, should I just pull out my lists here? How many female-fronted bands do I have here on my computer? Let's just see in the A's here. Let's go through the A's. Just a moment here.
Mm-hmm.
You got Anakira, Anatar, Anasasta, Angoria, Aperion, Asylum Pyre, Aura Sage, Autumn Rain Melancholy, Optimus Melancholia, Azalea, Tagorius, Angel Zoom, and then she came, Ancestral Dawn, Amberian Dawn, Alterium. I'm actually trying not to do this without looking directly at the list.
Yeah.
Age of Dust, Urance, Eternus. There's 3 different bands with that name. Asmodeva, Ian Sun, Enigma. I know 4 bands with that name with different spellings. Ad Infinitum, Rage of Light. I have to throw that in because I just did Ad Infinitum. Abstracted Mind. I'm trying to think of all my A ones here. Yeah. Isha, yes. Like, yeah, I've got female bands. Oh, I've got female bands. I could teach you guys some bands.
Mm-hmm.
I might be a bit. There's always things like Fair Infinity, Black Morris Night.
Mm-hmm. Yep, bringing up some old ones.
Cornelius, Chrysalis. I'm just trying to think at this moment. Diana, Dream Slave, Other Dream Slave, Dream Ocean, Donna Nakatis, The George Goodman, Dim Crimson, Dama. I'm not coming up with all of them right now. I'd have to really have my list. And these are all rock and metal bands with female fronted that I'm just naming off here.
Well, some of them
like this girl, right?
One got a little historical. Well, Sister Rosetta was a blues singer and guitarist of a certain time period. And there are many like her: Coco Taylor, Big Mama Thornton, Etta James, Memphis Minnie, and so on. And they weren't rocking. They didn't mention the Bronnie Raitt and Janice.
Since you have somebody in the chat who goes by the name Lilith. Lilith Be Gone is a song from one of the bands I just listed. And it's actually a song about the stereotypical abuse that happened to women in the old days. Don't even get me started if we start going into the like underground gothic death metal female fronted in Japan. That shit'll freak you out.
Yeah.
Mystica Rose also, I forgot that one. Also, what Magica. Yeah, Lila. I'm a bit of a metalhead, aren't I?
Okay, someone just brought up Susie and the Banshees.
Let's see, Elatra Storm, Illusion, Emerald Mine, Eve's Fall, Evanescence Ethos.
Yep, someone decided Grace Slick. Linda Ronstadt, I guess.
Yeah.
That is down around Carly Simon, Kate Bush, Joni Mitchell.
For Selena Ensign, Fall of Emotions. God, I've got too many of these. It's gonna take forever to try to remember them all. Sing my lullaby, Lilith be gone, Lilith be gone, Lilith be gone. Sing my lullaby.
Someone brought up the Shangri-Las, and actually, there's a little because those girls actually did have to go through some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, you have to bring up Kitty if you're talking about founders of female metal too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Now let's see. Bikini Kill, Betty Blowtorch, Le Tigre, the Donnas.
I miss Pierce.
Jack Off Jill. That's a new name. Okay. Scarling, Luna Chicks.
Lunatica too.
Mm.
Tears of Magdalene. Trail of Tears has a female singer.
Yeah. Finally, someone mentioned the Bangles.
When you start mentioning females in rock and metal, like my brain goes into overdrive, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I'm avoiding the references to Courtney Love because she's just.
This rocker metal side is part of why Matt likes me so much, though, isn't it?
Sure.
You like a girl who's got some rowdy attitude, right?
Of course.
Susie Quattro finally got a drop here. Also, a group Fanny. So
can't forget Allison Avenue and the Dark Element for ones that are connected to the whole Nightwish era. Can't forget Tarja and her solo era. You cannot forget Revamp. Never forget Revamp. I still think that was the best floor was.
Oh, I love Typo Negative a lot, dude. It's one of my favorite doom metal. It's one of my favorite gothic doom metal bands.
One sec. They never should have cut back Floor doing Revamp to switch her to Nightwish. As much as she's good at Nightwish, she was better in Revamp, and she was more guttural in Revamp. There's always Ginger. There's always those bands too.
By the way, I got a bowl.
All genres. I'm just very much. Take care.
God, Nina Hagen. That's a name I haven't seen in decades.
Have a good one, Matt. Thank you for coming.
Everything that ties between like rock and metal in all the subgenres, that's my favorites. And then behind that is Native music, Indigenous music here, and Celtic music, and then slews of other genres, subgenres. I very much was raised by a Dr. Demento loving DJ.
Oh, Vixen. That was a good lady to mention.
Nice, Bullet. Nice. And you are fine, Lilith. It's okay.
Another mention of Fanny. Again, the main thing was in Britain, and considered what Fanny means in Britain, it's like, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's a big difference there.
It could be why they didn't get much airplay.
To squeeze my fanny, nobody can ever please my fanny. Still loves no one but me. Don't touch my fanny. Please don't you try. Not in England, it isn't, Lilith.
No.
In England, fanny is another word for a see you next Tuesday.
Let's say over here, fanny refers to the backside, and Britain never refers to the front side. Yeah. That's why they really get a laugh when we talk about fanny packs. Okay,
They still call them that.
I think they started adapting the term butt bag or bum bag.
Bum bag.
It's a little more. It makes clear on both sides what you're talking about. You say a fanny pack, goes, what the fuck?
Well,
oh, good Lord!
Hold on, because a friend wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him the choice. Like he wanted to see a movie. I'm like, here's some movies that were available. Hold on.
Because he hangs his head.
I like some parts. I thought Lilo was amazing. Thank you.
Well, everybody, even the people I know who absolutely hated it, loved that little girl and said she was perfect.
Yeah, she's amazing. She was the hardest. So I did like Nani's actress. However, I understand what they were doing with her. There are some scenes where when she is debating with herself, I felt like, yes, give me more of this, please.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the mid-credits scene. During the credits, I felt like, why couldn't that be the actual ending in the bed with the trio? Because I love you, sister. I love you, sister. And then even Stitch says, I love you, sisters. I'm like, that was perfect. That was that's the family. That's the trio.
Mm-hmm.
Please, why couldn't that be the ending?
Mm.
I hated what they did to Jumbo. I did not like the actual ending of the film, of course.
Yeah, that's got a lot of contentions among the native population too, because there is an issue in native populations with over obsessing over taking care of your family to the point of destroying your own life. But there's also an issue where we're supposed to be tight-knit family, and that yes, they had a Hawaiian writer write that version, but it also whitewashed a lot of the native struggles.
I wish it was better because there are moments here that were good. I'm like, come on, give me more of this. I like Nani and Lilo singing together because that was in the original, but that was mostly Nani singing. I'm like, yes, do it. Come on. Good. I did like Stitch going back into the dog kennel. I'm like, okay. But where's the Ugly Duckling book? Where's that book? Where's him saying, I'm lost? Please. The animation's still better. So please, folks, go watch the animation again because that's what I'm going to do again.
Mm-hmm.
You can get off me, anime. He just wants the views from my reactions. like the darn T-Rex from Black Star. It was the darn T-Rex that got me in Black Cat.
You should have seen him. You should have seen him after that episode at the watch party. He threw
it's a T-Rex. A freaking T-Rex that took me out of an anime. I'm like, of all the guns, different abilities, a mecha parody anime episode on TV, it was the T-Rex that does it for me. It was the T-Rex.
Okay, let's silent off a big screen now. You've embarrassed enough. Also,
of course, she's got her Stitch. Yeah.
Yes, she does.
My Stitch?
So
which
jealous.
one?
Mm-hmm.
This one's my cuddle one.
Uh-huh.
Oh, the one he's sleeping.
Yeah.
And I will still say Stitch was still awesome. Every time he was on screen, I was like, that's my buddy. There he is.
Well, but overall, Joker, where would you put this Lilo and Stitch at on your?
Well, for all the Disney live action remakes, I would call this one the better ones.
But considering the absolute,
that's a really low bar.
Yeah, that's a really low bar.
Wow.
Yeah.
But if I have to give this live action grade, a 5 out of 10 at best. The original is like a 9 out of 10.
That's a fair grade. I'll take that.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not Rotten Tomatoes who gave it 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, Snarky Jay's done a couple of videos on the whole thing, but
guys,
it's like,
guys, I got something the other night. I found the one almost nothing. So freaking perfect for me.
Oh boy.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And there's something else that I'm very obsessed with. Well, besides Stuffy's and Precious Moments,
I'm terrified to see what this is.
Okay. What do I paint all the time and make lots of?
Oh, dragons.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Wait.
Oh,
One.
great.
Here, I'll put you on the big screen.
2, 3.
3,
Oh, that's adorable.
4,
Do we start a working count here?
5.
5
And
dragons.
all cutie patootie, they are made by Precious Moments.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I got 5 Precious Moments dragons, and I already have a Precious Moments dragon that's not one of these at my house.
Mm-hmm.
So that means I have 6 of them.
Now we won't be alone.
9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now is this nerdy?
Just a tad. Yeah.
But they're cute. Yes, they're cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at they're really soft, they're really well made, they're really well stitched. They have the Precious Moments eyes, but made into the stuffies.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they adorable?
Mm-hmm.
They're adorable.
Yeah.
Very much adorable.
They were on clearance. I paid $10 for them.
How?
Oh, that's a
the whole
steal.
lot? $2 a piece? Good grief. That kind of ranks it there with Foley getting himself an original motion picture version of the Enterprise refit for $10 Canadian.
Yay! Don't forget, I've always got Angel.
Oh.
Can't tell I like can't tell I like my Stitching Angel, right?
Yeah. Well, I said Snarky Jade did 2 videos on that and had to come back and revisit a thing. Then they comment about, why they did this, and the producers, that's not realistic. Oh, God forbid you go to a Disney movie and it's not realistic.
Yeah.
You're already talking about some alien coming down to the planet and posing as a dog, but you're worried about the family situation not being realistic? God forbid these kids have a bit of a fantasy in their lives where the family stays together. No, she's got to, give the kid to the state and go out to chase her dreams.
Also, by the way, no, actually, what's really, really insidious about that whole situation, in Native families, the likelihood of somebody leaving, even if they had that opportunity, is extremely low because it's extremely tight-knit based.
Yeah.
But also, literally one of the top colleges in the world for what she was supposedly leaving to go do is in Hawaii.
It's not San Diego. Not that San Diego's any slouch, but it's like,
I don't know if I'd say better or not, but very likely more, because what you saw here is just a few of them I have, not even all of them, but a few of the ones that I have at my mom's house. I've got bins loads of them at my house, don't I, Bob?
Yeah. Just wait till I get back home and say, holy shit, are you 5?
Anime, somebody in chat wants a link.
Oh,
You gotta learn to stop asking so many times, though, Kermit.
That's spamming.
I took that to bit on delay. So.
Kind of looks creepy.
I'm a little obsessed with my collectibles. And my collectibles have to be cute and stuffy. Well, some of them. Some of them are getting stuff like this. Little owls that are made out of rock. But also, besides the one that my niece gave me, which is the bearded toad, I also got the axolotl.
Oh, nice. Wait a minute, Bullet. You're joking.
My niece gave us this for my husband.
Ooh, those are cute. Those are cute.
Stress.
Oh, you're good, Bullet. You're good.
Fidget toy axolotls.
Ooh. Hold on to. We'll give you the answer in a hot minute. We're almost done. I got your question in
by Edgar Wright this time around versus the original. Then again, the original
Aren't these
film,
so cute, little axolotl stress toys?
yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then I've got the two sticky plastic style axolotls.
Ooh, nice.
And of course the quokka that Lydian sent me.
To answer your question though, Bullet Silence, thank you for being so patient with us. Yes, we got a new director for it, so I'm waiting to see where this goes and everything. Have not seen the trailer yet. I have not seen the trailer yet. I don't know if there is one, but I will watch it. If it's linked to me, I will watch it. I will sit down and watch it. And also, David, I forgot to say hi to you. I am so sorry. I forgot to say hi to you. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to catch up with everything. I am so sorry. I was not ignoring you intentionally. I am so sorry.
I wasn't ignoring
Welcome,
you guys
my friend.
intentionally. Since I come on, I'm just flooded with messages.
Oh, before you start, David, we're doing very different topics today, but
join and sorry about the spamming.
all right,
That's okay.
It's all good. David, real quick reminder: we're trying to avoid this topic as best as we can.
I was going to ask about yeah. I was going to ask about
Oh, go ahead.
The Overlord movie. Is it Overlord?
Overlord? Joker, was there an Overlord movie?
There is an Overlord movie that I know that was set in World War II. So there's kind of like two different Overlord movies. If we're talking about the light novels series, that's one I don't know about that one. I know there's a Overlord Year One based off the Year One manga. But the Overlord movie that I know about was set in World War II with zombies.
No, Paramount's okay. This is the light novel series one that was turned into an anime. So far, 4 seasons have been produced. They're late with 5, but they've always been late, as far as I remember. They're also late with the final novel, although 16 was meant to be the final novel, but they stretched it out to 18. Now it looks like they're going to 20.
There's all kinds of books out there.
Yep.
And there's a lot of plushies.
Do I have an addiction?
Apparently, Paramount's got the distribution rights to the Overlord movie, and when it's released, it will be given a Western release.
I watched a weird series that bounced about. I guess you were supposed to read the books.
Yeah, I've read the first, I think 10 or 12.
Nom, 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 nom. And look, it's life size. I mean,
and you're throwing
look at my little stuffed bear.
You're throwing your nose.
If that doesn't drag him in, okay. He's talking about me. Damn it! I gotta toss him up.
Roar!
Kitty.
Did you know they made a Monsters Inc. TV series?
They do in most of their movies, actually.
Yeah, they do that a lot.
You know how many TV series they've made and flopped in the last year?
Come and go. Don't even leave
Hey, MGTOW, what's up, buddy? And Callie, what's up?
I actually tried. I'll be honest. I tried the series.
No,
it wasn't for me. So I didn't watch.
Yeah, it was made for. Most of Disney stuff isn't made for regular folk. Okay, it's made for kids. It's made to sit kids in front of the screen so mummy can go and pass out.
Just like the Lilo and Stitch movie was made to sell more Stitch toys.
I just
Look at
wanted
that.
to.
Oh, the movies are the movies are made to sell toys. The TV shows are made to
keep
keep
selling.
the
David.
kids hypnotized.
I just wanted to see what it was about, if I would like it, and I didn't really like it. So,
Yeah, I'm not saying that's your fault. I'm saying I'm saying that's what they try to do with every TV show,
Especially Disney.
And my bighorn sheep I named Butthead.
Okay.
of course you did.
Yeah.
No one's really surprised about that.
No. Not really.
No.
I'm gathering the toys together anyways because I got to start
Right.
packing to go home.
Mhm.
So, mwah. Butthead. Crimson.
So which one would be
Jasper.
this game?
And also, big fat weighted panda.
Aw.
I call this one fat ass, but that's because it's weighted a little disproportionately. Wow. I don't know. Am I a little obsessed with my stuffed animals?
Maybe.
Well, I got some figures, some plushies, so I guess we're in the same boat. So I got a couple plushies. So
It's like I usually don't understand collections of things, but when it comes to stuffed animals, I'm like, God.
Mhm.
well, I do know the story that when my sister and her husband they were shopping one day, all of a sudden there's this giant, and I mean giant stuffed penguin, and he picks it up right away, puts it in the cart, no questions asked, because he loves penguins.
I think
Okay.
they're starting to sell Beanie Babies again.
They never stop. I've been
Yeah.
selling. A lot of the ones I just showed you guys are. One of the other things, David, when you commented on this, one sec. Another thing when you commented on the big stuffed animal like that, at my house I have a 6 foot long stuffed dragon.
Ooh. There's so many jokes I could make about that.
Oh, do it! I dare you. Do it.
I'm not going to.
You know why they call them dragons? Because they drag it.
God
They
damn it,
drag it
I love
along.
I knew that one was good.
I discovered tonight that there's a lot of weird books on Amazon.
If you sexualize that joke, that's on you, not me.
I sexualize everything, bitches. When correctly viewed, everything is lewd. I can tell you things about Peter Pan and the Wizard of Oz. There's a dirty old man.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And
do
if you didn't
share.
sexualize my joke, shame on you.
That is
Do share, Angel.
That's a song quote, actually, isn't it, Bob? Bob.
Bob,
He's muted. He's got something going.
Yes, it is. I forget what song, but yeah, it's something.
Tom Lehrer Smut.
I'll get your goddamn pole. Wait a minute. God, hold on.
Hold on.
Bang.
I discovered there's a lot of interesting book series on Amazon Kindle.
Yeah, I wrote it. I mean, what are you saying?
A lot of interesting books on Kindle.
Yes, I know. I wrote some. I've read some.
A lot of horrible book series. Like I won't say the book series name because he's like writing in a journal and he's coming home and then bad stuff had happened before and then some lower rank soldier accuses him of because the bad things because he was in command when it happened, so he casually iced him.
Mm-hmm. It's yeah. I mean, I think one of the best stories about the mafia, Goodfellas, showed that yeah, once you made once you got away with one murder and then another, and then suddenly you got 26 murders under your belt, and you treat murdering somebody like a casual
Sure.
instead of just saying go away, it's just like, hey, bang, I just murdered
Let
this
me
guy.
explain what my recommended stuff in Amazon looks like by explaining to you what I was doing the other night. Okay,
This should be.
it starts with the fact that Lydian has gotten me to play a game to a show I never watched because the game is well made.
Mm-hmm.
He's got me playing a stupid world building game that was from Hello Kitty. I hate Hello Kitty as a show, but it's a really well made game. So
I've never seen a full episode. I've only ever seen clips of that show.
But so this was me the other night. I'm playing that game, and that game is built with different characters from all these different properties that anime house owns, including the red panda that rages out and turns into a heavy metal singer in one of them.
Renko-san.
Yeah, she's in the game, and she actually rages out and does metal in the Hello Kitty game.
Wow.
And so I'm playing Hello Kitty Island while I'm watching a deep dive into the Manson family murders and which ones have been paroled. I think that's how weird.
How many of them have been paroled anyway?
Several, including Squeaky Fromm.
Squeaky finally got out?
She got out a while ago. She's in New York.
Huh.
It's like, that's scary. The one who literally tried to walk up to a president and shoot him in the face got out.
What are they doing now? Do we know?
Not much that we know about. They're not saying much about where these people are now. And, partly there's some amount of that's legal protections because you're not supposed to dox people once they're released and paid their debt. But I'm sorry, if you're being part of a cult that murders innocent people the way they did, I don't believe you should ever be let out.
I know one of them was doing a kind of a prison ministry thing.
Are some of them still in prison?
Some are, and some are dead, and some got out, and some never served time. They actually were the whistleblowers who reported on them, and didn't participate in the murders.
Have a good one, Bullet. Thank you for hanging out with us.
How do you hang out around them if you don't kill or do what they?
They didn't start with murders, and a lot of people fled the cult. There's always people who've gotten out of cults. There's always people who are groomed into cults when they're underage. There's always people who are raised in cults, and so just because they're in a cult alone does not mean you're guilty.
Wasn't there a lot of sexual stuff?
Yeah,
that's how they got everyone in there.
That's pretty much a free cult.
Well, one of the ways they manipulate people. Yeah, one of the laws of cults.
I watch deep dives into cults. I've watched stuff on Jim Jones. I've watched stuff on Anthill Kids. I've watched stuff on all these things. The Star Children, the Children of God, and all those things. I've watched the deep dives on them. I get into that stuff.
Yeah, Jim Jones was very good at picking broken people, and one of the lures of cults is the promise of a safe relationship or an easy relationship.
Sorry, continue.
That's very
but it's either they go the route of, hi, you're a broken person, I'll give you a safe relationship, or hi, you're a deviant, I'll give you an easy relationship.
I think one of the more disturbing ones is the Anthill Kids.
Oh. What? Can you talk about it?
I would say I would recommend you look it up.
Do I want that on my history?
It's not what I think I should talk about on air. Call Me Chris did, but she did a very sanitized way of explaining it because it's very difficult to explain without getting in trouble.
Oh, if it's that bad, then I gotta
really dark.
What?
I'll look it up.
Is it darker than the normal cult?
Let's just say I would probably get threatened if we talk about this.
Oh, if it's that bad, then.
Yeah,
I would probably be getting an email within like 10 to
the
like
nicest,
5-10 minutes.
The nicest
with
way
a-
I can
a
explain
threat.
this is the guy who led
We'll
this
just yank
cult.
the thing out the air. I mean, we'll just
The guy who started this cult was very much raised in a very cult-like Catholic church, and he decided he was going to be the doctor of the group, mutilating people to make them submissive to him, including children.
He was
And that's as
we'll
much as
leave
I'm
it
gonna
at
go.
and we're gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, that's what I was leaving it at anime. That's where I was giving them
leave it at
enough
that.
information that they can understand it without giving anything that's really dark.
Yeah, because if this were Rumble or Kick, I would not give a damn. But
For
this
further
is
information, go to Google.
I would say if you want a good way that it was told with detail without saying things in a way that'll get flagged on YouTube, well, look at the video on it. Call Me Kristen. She got into it pretty well.
I don't think I want to have that on my internet search.
Well,
there's nothing wrong with following true crime and cult stuff as long as you're not actually trying to mimic it in your own life.
Yeah. If you're not looking at it as a how-to guide, it's
if you actually, there's a few good true crime sites that you can just go to true crime cult section, and it'll actually give you a very good breakdown. The guy was a French Canadian. Okay, he was a polygamist, and over time things got darker and darker until it got, and he was basically a poster child for everything wrong with the legal mindset of everything is equal. You know, every idea is equal.
I remember an episode of the.
There's a lot of stuff you can't say about the guy.
Some of the worst cults and serial killers of all time have come out of Canada.
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding. It's scary, the ones that come out of Canada. When they go dark, they go dark.
Yeah, the thing is, you heard of the.
Let David talk a second. Go ahead, David.
You get the human spectrum of normal behavior, right? Unfortunately, Canada is more and more creeping to the left. That creates a counter. That creates a counter reaction, and the extremes when your society becomes that extreme where everybody has to pretend to be polite, you definitely start to generate the malcontents become more malcontent.
There's a couple issues with that. By the way,
speak.
One second, I'll let you. I promise. Canada's worst killers, most of them were actually a long time ago. Some of the worst serial killers also come out of the Koreans, and that's not a utopia like where leftist glory kind of state either.
No, they're like I said.
But let Kermit respond real quick, and then you can do yours.
I was going to say one of the the Mystery of the Week shows I watched. They had like a cult doing, or a preacher cult thing doing their thing, and then a smoke bomb, then grenades were thrown in, and then it was days before they found everybody because they were very recluse. And then as they were entering, they thought they were being watched from the outside. And it turns out they were. Because there were some of the children were sent over time, were sent out to find their way back. And not all of them returned. And they thought they naturally died, but they created a society out there.
And another side note, real quick, before David goes on his next ramble.
Oh, God damn it! What?
Another side note, real quick, before David goes for his next ramble, which I'll fully give him time for. If you want a comedic thing you can watch that actually does the entomology of the mindset of serial killers really well, look up and watch Arsenic and Old Lace. It's a comedy movie with Cary Grant, but they really portrayed Angel of Mercies and psychotic serial killers really well.
Yeah.
Don't
Now,
Angels of
David Stern.
What Rosen was
David
saying
Stern.
is totally true. With Korea and some other societies that have gone to the other extreme, you get the.
Can you turn
now,
my
I'm not
light
saying
on?
that all serial killers
Can I
go
turn this
into
on?
the extreme, right? From the
Mhm.
up to the opposite extreme, right? In societies that go extreme left, you still get your mercy killers. You still they're a different political breed than your psycho killer. Okay, you have your spree killer, your psycho killer, your impulse killer, and then you start to get into the really dark ones. Those are the damaged children of society who become killers, not because they're angry with the target or whatever. They're angry with society, and they pick a target that is going to create the most, in their mind, the most psychological harm. And that's where you get to Korea. A lot of the Korean killers are in that breed of psycho killer. Okay,
There's
where they want to do
another
harm
part
to
of Korea.
society.
There's an issue in South Korea right now where they're having roving gangs committing violent crimes that are between 9 and 13 because there's a law in the books that they will not revoke where people cannot be tried for crimes under the age of 14, no matter how heinous they are. So kids know they literally cannot be charged for anything, and they're literally roving gangs, stealing cars, robbing places, murdering, everything.
So do they stop them at? So do they stop at 14?
They can't.
No.
They can't
By the time they're 14, they're addicted to the criminal actions.
Yeah, they have jails waiting for them.
But I was going
to pick them up at school since they turned 14.
I was going to ask. Aren't mercy angel killers or what? Mercy killers or whatever usually work in medical field?
Not always, but they often do because it's a place to find victims.
They usually choose something they can get into that gives them the most victims. Yes, it's often medicine in some form. But what a lot of people don't get, and a lot of reports don't say about mercy killers, is they often work as aged care because it gives them the most victims.
Yeah.
It is the most likely to get away with.
Yeah.
Female serial killers are most likely to be either Angels of Mercies or Black Widow. Both of which
and
are
they have,
Black Widows
Black
are
Widows.
often sexual criminals too, not just murder.
Yeah. But because society does not focus on female killers, in fact goes to the extreme of covering up the amount of female killers.
Even though if you look over the global database for 400 years, over every known serial killer, somebody who succeeds in killing 3 or more people, 61% are female.
The most prolific serial killer is a female who never gets mentioned. They always go to Ted Bundy. He's an amateur.
And also, Ted Bundy's nowhere near up there either. Most prolific male serial killer was targeting men and male children, and that was in the Middle East, and he killed almost 250 by the time he was caught.
That they know of, right?
That's what he bragged about every single one of them when they caught him.
What in the?
Yeah. There's also that's another category. Fame killers. People kill for attention.
Oh, the more terrifying ones are the ones that they never catch that keep killing. Or
the most terrifying ones are the ones who don't match any psychology profile, have no trauma that anyone knows of, have nothing wrong with them in mental health that anyone knows of. They are stone cold logical and just choose to be evil. Yeah.
Ted Bundy falls into that category of kill for kill's sake, not for attention, not for revenge or anything. He just did it because he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them, this is why I tell people, yes, broken people sometimes do break other people and hurt other people, but there's also hurt people is real, but also it's a choice. You have a choice not to become what's harmed you. But what they won't talk about is the fact that it's still a choice, and people can be completely logical, sane, and healthy and choose to be evil.
Yes. And Ted Bundy, 99% of the time was
Dahmer.
He was nothing like they portray serial killers in any TV show, even the one on Ted Bundy. He said, "This isn't me. This isn't me. This is somebody else."
There are like 2 or 3 of them actually.
Which one?
No, they
about
finally
Ted
did
Bundy?
make. No, the last one they made on Ted Bundy was so over dramatized.
The last one they made on Ted Bundy pissed off one of the families of one of the victims because they tried to romanticize it. His victim attack on a disabled kid with mental health issues, and basically pretend that they were a couple and that the kid was willing.
I think I read somewhere where the more intelligent you are, the more, what is it, psychologically.
The more intelligent you are, the more psychologically fragile you are.
Yeah, let me see if I word this
between
correctly.
genius and insanity is a real thing. The higher your IQ is, the more likely you are to either have some kind of mental health issue or some kind of disconnect with it.
Yeah,
and it's not because you're automatically evil, but because you don't fit as well.
Yeah, that's what it was.
One extreme. On the other extreme, you get emotional killers, and they also they may be low intelligent, but they're highly emotional and highly reactive. So they're the psycho killers again in that spectrum of I kill you because you upset me.
Yeah, there's an imbalance with what is it, societal acceptance and fitting in, and
which is why societies used to stick to the so-called central on no extreme beliefs, no absolutism, because they knew in a small community you tick somebody off, you could wake up and find yourself the only survivor of an overnight massacre.
Kermit, mute for a few minutes to figure out why your mic's giving reverb. It's really bad. One sec. Yeah. I had a comment here, but I had to deal with him real quick. There's I'll use an example here for this. The people who they just want to hurt so bad. If you're nice to them, even they want revenge on you. And there's an example of this that's actually personal. My mom was actually almost killed in an arson fire when she was pregnant with me. The guy who did it went through town and literally burned down the houses from the outside of everybody who'd actually helped him over the last year and a half.
Ew.
Yeah, because
isn't that a result of extreme isolationism, where you can't even accept friendships?
He was not nice. He was known as a very extroverted person his whole life. He was not isolationist at all.
Yeah.
Everybody in town knew him. He was extremely outgoing. He just decided to start trying to kill everybody who helped him.
That is weird.
You're vastly outnumbered the higher IQ you have by people who are either average or below average IQ, and it's dangerous because a lot of them are very emotional.
I forget who said it.
Kermit.
That was an echo.
Wow.
I think it's almost time for a new mic.
Oh God,
Jesus! What the hell are you doing to that thing?
Yeah, you need to have like at least a mic with a foam on.
Or just get it.
We need to figure something else out for your system, Kermit, because that was so loud and so bad. It was like being, sodomized while having your ears.
He might be on the phone. Punctured. That's the problem.
This thing, if you just rub again, it sounds like you're tap dancing on a fucking
Yeah. Ooh. But anyways, I'm gonna tell you some good news so far.
He's muted. Yeah, go ahead, Shawnee.
Well, I am close to getting out of debt, so I'm like $90 out of debt anyway so far. But so if you want to like chip in like 30, like if it's 3 people, it's fine. It's up to you. But I'm not like forcing you or anything. It's like it's up to your decision if you want. But for now, I'm just I already sold some stuff on eBay. No big deal.
I have a comment I put in private chat on the conversation we're just having for a reason.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyways, as soon as I'm done with my debt I have so far, I'm
not really. You're not really wrong there, Eagle. You're not wrong there.
Yeah.
It's more of like genuine. It's more genuine. I didn't detect any hint of bragging. There was no bragging.
Well, it's because
you're fine.
You're talking about how hard it can get the higher your IQ gets. I can literally sit there and go, I know that mine tested in the 150s. And I also know that my ability to communicate with other people, understand them, or even sometimes go up and down to wherever the conversation is because my brain's not running the same way, is actually really difficult.
Understandable.
And it actually makes me sound stupider at times because my brain can't calm down long enough to say what I'm trying to say.
I think we all peg the higher end of the scale. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got
the top.
I've got
scored in the top 20, and I can understand what you mean because, like, you go from the sport, you go from a big pond with a large, diverse IQ range, and then you go spend some time in university where most people are in the top percentile, and you don't stand out. You know, you can be more comfortable, and nobody's. I miss the old days of university where nobody was judging your politics.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that didn't exist by the time I was in college. Even when I was in college, everybody had 2 bits to say about every opinion I had. Yeah. They wanted to judge everything I said about growing up poor and dealing with Native issues and stuff like that. They had a million opinions that were as ignorant as fuck, and I didn't want to listen to them. And it probably bred part of my divisive attitude where I do have a tendency to pull people off and tell them I don't fucking care. They're too stupid to argue with me. Which I do at times.
The standards on teachers.
That's it.
They lowered the standards on teachers, and they allowed them to have their opinions, man. So they spend half their time.
Well, yeah, it's like, the George Carlin line. Think of how stupid the average person is, and then realize half people around are stupider than that.
The problem is though.
One sec. I had points taken off of scores in college on tests and on creative writing projects because they didn't like the ideals that I put in it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That should play nothing to fucking do with it. Yeah. I had to take points off because they said my ideas weren't possible or were wrong thinking.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be honestly clear with politics kind of screw over the education system like in a way that they need to learn like not to be so biased over whatever side it is, because I'm telling you the truth, like look, I don't trust the right or the left, but they have some good points, to be honest.
Both sides have valid points on different issues. The problem is the extremists never know when to shut their fucking mouths and not be extremist assholes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I said. Society used to take care of the extremists because they knew that the extremists were the ones who are the most likely troublemakers. They isolated them.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, the extremists had taken over the mainstream media because we know what goes on there, and guess who controls the elitists? It's not the extremists. It's the ones who paid them, to be honest.
Let's look at it this way. Let's look at our group here a minute. One sec. Let's look at our group here a sec. Let's use this as an example here.
Yeah.
Do you think we all agree politically, even close to agree?
No.
Do you think we all argue constantly because there's a lot of shit we disagree on each other with?
Yeah, we could.
Are we all intelligent and willing to hear and respect people of a different opinion, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to create everybody.
And the point is, and the point is when I see these no king protesters, they just want to silence other people. They don't want to hear other people's opinions.
I mean, that's
I will say there's protesters on both sides that are just in it for attention or trying to bully the other side into submission. And there's protesters on both sides who genuinely believe in what they're doing, even if they're misguided, and really do want to help people.
Yeah.
They just don't know a lot of things because it's not their experience. It's not what they've seen. It's not what they've experienced. And we've all fallen into that at some point. We've all fallen into the group of opinions, but we really don't know as much as other people on that issue.
Even though those no kings protesters are just paid.
Yeah, those people who cry about no kings, 10 years ago, they used to refer to Obama as the king
Is
of America.
this better?
Yeah, that's a little better now.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, don't mess
Yes.
with it.
I'll try to mute when I'm not talking.
That
All
does
right.
help.
Well, people have to realize there's a lot of psychological stuff. What is it? What is the word? A lot of what am I trying to say? The psychology of the mind that's being used against a lot of people in a lot of places
Yeah.
to be controlled into what they're doing.
So
The whole political
hurt him.
spectrum. The whole political spectrum is a kabuki ass theater designed to turn us against each other while
That's
they can
true.
manipulate us for more money and power on both sides. That's politics.
Psychological
That's true.
manipulation. That's what I was trying to think of.
Because the thing is, like, people shouldn't be
No
psychologically
shit.
manipulated.
Mhm.
Best slapback I saw on that. Yeah, no kings, but you wore the mask with
Yeah.
the goat. No,
And the
and
thing
but you
is-
shut down, and then all this stuff they just followed
I'm
blindly.
trying to avoid actually
Yeah.
taking point in those parts of the conversation, focus
Yeah.
on the extremists.
Yeah,
Because
since
there
the
have
no kings are part of the
things
extremists.
well, let me finish.
Mhm.
Because thing is, there are absolutely people with valid points on each side where they're pointing out the extremes. The problem is both sides, and yes, it's more of an issue with one than the other currently, but it's still an issue with both sides where they play each other, where one person says something horrible or does something horrible and they use it to amp up their side, create more drama against the other side, and demonize the other side.
Yeah,
And the thing is,
and
if you
That's
take
the
out the
problem.
extremists, most people, left to right, are decent people.
yeah.
Well, and again, it comes to the middle, not to the extremes. And I'll point out that they'll take one argument. I won't say which one, but they'll say back in 2000 you did this thing, and now we're going to judge you forever and a day by this one thing, and that everything you say since is going to be a lie. We're going to and you notice I'm not saying just the left does it, but predominantly the left will always leave out the nuance and boil things down to a slogan.
I will say that's been more statistically the left, but I'm seeing a lot more of that people on the right now than there used to be.
To be intellectually
and it bothers
honest.
me because I actually politically I align as center right. I do have more right leaning positions than left, but because there's such a raise in so many of the extremist side in my side, and because I don't like what they're doing with the alpha culture and other stuff, I'm having to take more of a stance against a lot of it, not because I oppose the right, but because I believe that we have to clean up the corruption on our own side before we can clean up the other.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Corruption on all sides.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, I lean center right, but when you compare me to the average belief structure of Native Americans, I'm considered liberal. So,
there's corruption everywhere for everything.
Yes.
There's always corruption, but you can't be a legitimate person calling out corruption on the other side if you're not willing to call it out amongst your own as well.
Yeah, intellectual honesty means you watch both sides, people you agree and disagree with, to formulate a better, well-rounded opinion of stuff.
Yes,
if you're only
means you don't leave out stuff either, and that's the most common thing happening today. It's not that most people are lying; it's just that most people are leaving out the predominant facts of the situation.
Yes,
whether intentionally or because there's so much division and so much kabuki and so much propaganda on each side that you can find a website and a news station, even if it's just an online one, to defend any position and make all these arguments and claim they're factual. So it's so hard for the average person to sift through the bullshit and find the truth.
And the thing is, it's like, here's the thing is, I'm going to tell you this one thing for sure. Well, they're thinking, oh, you have a face of an Hispanic person or something, oh, deport them. But like, that's like a basically BS lie that they believe from the media, because the thing is, here's the thing, like they've been listening to a lot of BS and they don't know any actual information because they listen from the news instead of going for the actual information. like
Well,
from the
here's where
government side or whatever.
I'll go a little more into a specific topic than I usually do because I try not to be divisive to either side. And this is where I have a criticism to both sides when it comes to this whole war about immigration. First of all, they are not handling the arrest correctly. Now, you cannot automatically say that's the fault of the person that's commander-in-chief because there's a lot of bureaucratic levels between him and them. His order can be changed between them. You have to do more research to say if he was involved in the corruption issue or not. So that part, let's not just say it's automatically his fault that they're handling it badly, but they are handling it badly. They're not properly screening that people are actually citizens and stuff like that. They have harassed Native Americans and claiming that they're Hispanic and from out of the country. That stuff, there are documented cases of. However, one sec. I promise you guys can all respond and argue with me if you want. Just let me finish the point. But on the other side, speaking as the Native woman, I'm getting tired of people saying that if you want legal immigration to be held and supported, if you want the system easier for people coming in the correct way, if you want to stop people at the border, make sure that they're not trafficking kids, make sure that the kids with them are legal to be with them, if you want to stop the illegal immigration and stuff like that, that you're anti-minority, you're not. In fact, the border is the #1 cause of murder, trafficking, and SA to Native women.
Yeah.
So supporting the open border is anti-Native American. It just is.
Because of the outflow. It's not just the inflow, it's the outflow of stolen children. And a lot of them,
it's not a little bit.
Are natives.
It is an epidemic. They're targeting us because traffickers make the most money on people based on rarity. Because these scuzzballs aren't interested in people based on if they think they're attractive. They're interested in them. Are they from a rare culture or race? Do they have a rare skin condition? Do they have a feature that's very uncommon? Which is why I've actually been targeted by these guys before, and I have. There's witnesses to that. Because if you're rare, they make more money on points, just like they're collecting collectors' cards in a Pokemon game.
Yeah, and given the
numbers,
and
so they target Native American women. And they also target them because the government is playing catch and release with the traffickers, and they're blocking cops on the res from doing anything about it.
And I get the point. And here's the other thing I'm gonna say. One thing for sure, that like the thing is with with situation with racial profiling, thinking, oh, you look like that and whatever. It's kind of like they believe this whole scare in the first place, like from a commercial. Like they need to stop looking at these scare propaganda, fear mongering, and realize, do their research first before reacting to anything that's like thinking it's negative or anything.
That's not their mindset. Their mindset is we must win because we must stop the Austrian painter from coming back to power.
Yeah, and the point is the Austrian painter is already dead.
Profiling is more real in a negative way, not in a proper way where you're actually collecting profiles of specific criminals and searching for them. But racial profiling, and that includes against white people in certain communities and neighborhoods, not just against minorities, but racial profiling and division between the races is becoming more epidemic on both sides because we've been being played against each other for so long on both sides. And so you will see more, oh, you're colonized, you're this and that towards natives from people on the right. You'll see more noble, savage over glorification from people to the left. You'll see more like hero worship, foot licking towards black people from people on the left, but you'll also see a lot more literally basically try to portray that the criminal issue in the black community is every black person on some people in the right. And the divide is becoming worse and worse, and it's happening to every racial group, not just one.
And the thing is, I'm in like racially, profile from the left because they're thinking, oh, I look white because of how I look, and they're thinking, oh, they call me racist because of that. But they don't realize the thing too about my great grandfather was black, and the thing is, why do you think I'm racist? Which they don't know I'm partially black, and that's the thing.
Go ahead,
isn't all this stuff going to reach a tipping point at some point if it hasn't?
That's the point.
Yeah.
Without
that's the point.
Pushing it.
Right.
People will
see. Back in the 50s, the left were recruiting like wildfire for the universities because it was a new idea, apparently.
The 50s, by now.
Yeah, hold on.
This is how it started. Actually, it started technically in the 1850s in Madison, Wisconsin, but it became epidemic in the 1950s, and then it just kept growing since.
Yeah.
Yep. Keep going,
In the
David. Keep going.
1950s, they went from the economic left to the racial left because African Americans were a fast-growing race, but they were not interested in the politics of poverty because they were trying to get out of poverty. They didn't care about the left or the right. They cared about getting out of poverty.
That's true.
So the left switched everything to racial politics.
Alrighty. Hang on one second, guys. Steph, you have been very patient. Can you do a quick mic check for us? Can you come through okay?
All right.
Steph, mic check.
Yeah, am I?
Oh, yeah, we can hear her.
Yes, we're good. Okay, yes,
Just
we're
making
good.
sure.
Thank you, Anime, because with that, me trying to keep everybody else so everybody got a turn talking, I couldn't hear her with that. All the other.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We were just double checking. We were just double checking on the mics.
Thank you guys for being willing to listen when I'm trying to make sure you all get turns to speak, because you guys have been very good.
Yes,
let's stop. Let's give each other a turn. Let's all have the chance to speak.
Yeah,
and I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
MGTOW? I was going to say,
Not a problem.
Flash. Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm gonna say one thing for sure. This whole situation with all this whole racial profiling going on, and as I think about this through as well, like, you know, like as I look at certain criminals, not just only certain criminals, there are some scalpers where I see, like mostly in gangs, they've been scalping up on Pokemon cards because I've seen videos of Hispanic gangs are doing that.
Oh boy, jeez. Well, everything has a price for the right buyer, and they'll hide.
Some people are idiots to buy that shit stuff.
And the thing is, like, they want if they want to deal with the situation with the crime, they need to deal with the gangs around. Like, don't go after innocent people who are associated with them.
Hold on, but the problem is that to the extremes who are behind the I'm talking about the people behind the curtain.
Yeah. You froze a
you
bit.
Look at how they took over Venezuela, South Africa, Cuba. They always use criminals. Okay, they used organized gangs because they're the most fanatical, and they're more willing to put their boot on people's neck than your average cop is.
Yeah.
Yep. Here's the thing, and this is why, yes, I actually am outspoken. There is an issue with cop corruption. There's also an issue with good cops not getting the support they need from the community to fight cop corruption. We cannot stop corrupt cops unless we support the good ones and quit demonizing all of them.
That is true. And I've seen videos of those. Because I've seen there are some bad cops around. The thing is, you can't blame all the cops are bad people. It's individual cops themselves.
But so many people are getting their politics of police from TV shows where they dramatize every cop. And if it's a cop drama, you've always got the Rat Squad, or they're always going on about internal affairs being the Rat Squad and all. You look at 20 years of Law and Order; they were always politicizing the fact that cops were always against the internal affairs, and corrupt police is just a mythology. People get their politics when they start to get their politics from popular culture. The corrupts the base of it, and eventually it becomes a cycle.
Yeah, and also one thing for sure that with cops, can you let me
hold on? Just let him.
Okay.
I was going to say that might be, that part of that might not liking internal affairs might be real.
So
it's necessary for internal affairs to approach the cops as corrupt cops to flush them out, because that's the only way they can do it.
Yep, and
you have to look at everyone as potentially guilty. Go ahead.
And here's the other thing about how we got bad cops, because that's with street cop training.
Damn it! Now what?
It is bad training, and it's also bad governorship, where the governors politicize
think about with street cop training, it's what's led the cops to be bad, and the thing is that type of training is illegal. To be honest,
it's more.
Now let me give a couple examples here a sec, because again, there are certain communities and certain neighborhoods that have more issues with corrupt cops than others.
Yeah.
I can cite two that are personal. had a cousin who was literally shot by cops on a supposed wellness check in his bed. I also have a father who was assaulted by a female cop for not letting her in the house without a warrant for a case that didn't involve him.
Yeah.
Are there corrupt cops? Absolutely. Did she say bigoted things to him? Yes. Unfortunately, this was before the era of body cams. And she stopped because at that point, my then brother-in-law came out the door and he was dressed for work, working security for the police in his bulletproof vest.
Uh-huh.
And she seemed to back down then.
That's hilarious, actually.
But so I've seen this stuff firsthand, and I've seen the cops turn a blind eye to people being attacked in traffic and stuff like that. But I've also seen really good cops fight the system. I have family full of military and law enforcement who are fighting the corruption and stuff. And I don't like the demonization, but I also think we need to heighten the punishments for those who are corrupt.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about elected people. They need to be held to a much higher standard than normal people because they're in higher positions of power. That's a given.
Yeah, the same people who scream about corrupt cops won't do anything about corrupt judges because it suits their politics of the day.
And that's another issue too, definitely.
Yeah.
Corrupt judges. I don't care if they're trying to legislate from the bench for the right or the left. If you're trying to change the laws through court cases, you are corrupt. You're violating your oath, and you should be kicked the fuck out.
Or they're trying to stop the president from doing lawful things.
That's the thing about district judges don't have that authority. That's what they're finding that out.
Let's not
It's
go down that
amazing
road,
the
please.
judges who didn't want. It's amazing the judges refused cases saying that federal elections aren't our jurisdiction are suddenly now. Oh yes, federal foreign policy is suddenly our jurisdiction.
Can we please not go down that road for the fourth time?
Yes.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Fourth time. I'm just saying that.
Anyway,
I think a lot of people have covered hypocrisy.
Yeah. No, he's okay right now. But yeah, we just need to. I'm so tired of people giving people a pass because they're on their side. This also goes to all these supposed conservative women who are always supposedly so outspoken against the predatory behavior of male feminists, but are now kissing the ass of Tate and people like him and saying that they're good men, and if you don't like them, that you're just jealous of them or stuff like that. Jebediah Bila, fuck that.
It's rare that I say that is enough. Usually
What in the hell?
No, Jedediah Beal's gone full Tate, bro. She's literally out there attacking any woman who doesn't like him.
Ego.
Could be why she has been on Fox for a while.
It's ego. It's rare that I say that is enough. Usually you're saying it to me.
Yeah, that's true. I don't care what side people are on. Just don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's one of the things that I think where we get this is the fact that somebody spoke about this at length, and I'll try not to go into length, is the media. Okay? The media cannot sell good news. The media is driven by clickbait because
the thing is, like with
it's
the media,
the people though. The people love their clickbait. They love their outrage.
The only thing is, they've been doing the clickbaiting, the
as old as the news industry. If it bleeds, it leads.
And I'm gonna say one thing for sure. The news media being like high school all over again. To be honest, like being the gossip.
Oh, they never left. They never left.
Yeah,
most of them, whether they're left or right, they've never left that high school mentality of being mean and bullying to get ahead.
Yeah.
There was one channel. There was one channel, one news network that tried to do news, but they didn't last long.
Yeah, everybody's told me about it. Yes, I know about Not the News and Good News. There was a couple of them, and they all didn't last long.
Well, address the problem where it's really at. You have people able to buy justice in this culture. If you have people that are corrupt enough to take bribes and you can buy your way, take what was that woman's case here the other day, Karen Reed?
Yeah.
You're going to tell me she's not guilty? I don't know if any of you are familiar with that.
Absolutely should be completely
There was
blind. There should be no financial incentive in justice. There should be no benefit in justice for finance, and it should not have anything to do with your gender.
Well, you look at most issues. The problem with most issues is lawyers making a profit off it.
Yes.
And creating bureaucracies around issues to create more profit for themselves.
Yes.
I was going. There was a.
One sec. We have an issue in society that is epidemic, and that issue is corruption and self-important attitudes.
Yeah.
Everything's about yourself, and everything's about power and money, and that becomes that. It's not a capitalist system; it's a crony capitalist system, and there's a huge difference in that.
I have a thing to say about that.
Go ahead.
As long as there's been courts and money, there's been bribery to varying degrees.
Yeah, that's true. But usually what happens, it's sorted itself out because the corrupt were the few, not the many.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a very broken system. And this is one place I will give the left credit on. It is extremely difficult to get justice well if you're a poor native, poor black or something. It's hard for any poor person, but it is harder as a poor minority just because there aren't many judges in your communities who can actually advocate for you guys or lawyers. And that's not because the system's automatically racist. It's just because of how the corruption and the money game has gone. But it is
the lawyers
that needs
created
to be
the
addressed.
problem. And then they want the state to fix the problem instead of lowering their own, instead of stop pricing themselves
Lowering their own
the
is a good phrase for it.
Yeah, lawyers price themselves out of the market, then want the state to pick up the cost, which is
There's
why
an old
so many
joke.
people. Yeah.
There's an old joke. What do you call 500 lawyers buried up to their neck in sand?
Good start.
A good start.
Not enough sand.
Not enough sand, yeah. Yeah, well, but the thing is, Kermit's right. It goes back. You look at Shakespeare, Kill All Lawyers. He was talking about,
Probably back to the Romans.
You look who started the French Revolution. Lawyers spreading false, accusations. Even today, they're still trying to sort out what was true and not true about Louis XIV. Because so many lies are told.
And what's really sucky about that is that, again, there are good lawyers who genuinely want to help people out there, but there's so many corrupt. And even freaking, they made a movie of her. Erin Brockovich, dude, it was not this angel. She lied constantly. She falsified information to win the case.
And then showed the tits of the judge to get away with it. Literally.
Well, there was a line in the movie that I actually really liked where they said, well, since I have no discernible skill as a lawyer in general, I just went out there and traded sexual favors for signatures. 64 blowjobs in one afternoon. I really am tired.
Wow.
That would have
I still like the other thing. How did you do all this? They're called boobs, Earl.
Yeah. But that's the thing. She didn't only just some of the people she went against were bad, were corrupt. That's absolutely right. Yeah. But if you look at the majority of her cases, they're nuisance cases that end up getting dismissed, okay? And she's been... So how many times does she get arrested for breaking in the property and creating spills, and the police have to let her go because no judge will take the case,
Why would no judge take her case?
It's kind of the Zoolander thing.
Because when she commits a crime,
hot, I believe her. Yeah.
When she commits a crime, there are senators who pick up the phone and say, "Release her. She's got tapes," and put it.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what those sexual favors are for, so she can get video footage of them.
Did she
of judges and police and lawyers? She's got them all, man. She's got them all in the video library.
She actually
I know good lawyers. I know genuine good lawyers who really are trying to stop the corruption and help people who don't have a voice in the system get actual justice. But there's too few of them and too much corruption.
Yeah.
And it sucks for those good lawyers because they are always going to get a black eye from the others.
Here's another thing: the environmental lawyers will keep complaining. Oh, they keep taking taking the side of big oil. No, they don't. It's not big oil who's the most corrupt. It's the state of California that's the most corrupt.
Yeah, when all the rioting happens yet again,
Tell me
they're
about
like, it's fine. I'm like, your state is coming down to the ground.
Environmental lawyers have said they're running out of cases and making stuff up to keep in business. And the state of California keeps dragging these cases out for years. And these are like, this Standard Oil, they've still got Standard Oil cases on the books, they're just so it's just so crazy. Because California took it all over, right? All the bankrupt oil wells, California took them over. In the 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah, when did they start splitting up and they were like, no, you can't monopolize all this oil. We have to split you up. Yeah, when did that happen? I think it was.
But anyway, California has protected the oil companies with lucrative deals, but at the same time, they allow these environmental cases to go ahead, even though they know that by the time they get to the Supreme Court, it's like decades later. They drag them out.
Yeah.
And there are valid environmental cases, but they build it up with so much hype, so much lies, and so much falsified crap from other stuff that the actual environmental issues are going untreated and getting worse.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, we all know about this whole green scam going on that they've been doing a lot.
It's a scam, yeah.
And the thing is, they think, they need money for the environment. They don't do anything for the environment.
Yeah.
Well, notice once
now that the Ozpecs are growing, did they cut the carbon tax? No. They won't call it a carbon tax either, but Canada has a carbon tax.
It's all it
is. So once they get pissed off at Elon, suddenly they're not driving Teslas anymore. Teslas are bad. They're driving big gas guzzling SUVs.
And the thing is, all these taxes and all this stuff, they just want to bankrupt us.
Yeah, because that's how easy it is to move people around.
That's how they maintain the power.
I read somewhere that 54% of Teslas aren't driven. They're just left in the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
They don't drive them.
Yeah.
They buy them for virtue signaling to keep their neighbors.
I've gotten some Uber rides in one. They're interesting, but
I would never own one, but I'm sick and tired of seeing people vandalize them too.
No, saying like Tim Allen said, he's got one. Yeah, it's a golf cart. Okay, admitting it's a golf cart.
Yeah, I mean, if you have people that actually like them and goes out and buys one and then it gets vandalized, that ain't cool.
No.
Yeah, and
I liked what Drew Lynch said about that. First one, he said that somebody vandalized my Tesla. See on the back it says, I support. Say that word you're not supposed to say.
Mm-hmm.
And then he smiles and goes, and next to that, the vandal wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
The next one he sits there. So my wife's driving the Tesla this day, and she stopped at a light. This guy comes over and flips her off and kicks my Tesla. And I'm sitting there thinking, no. You don't get to disrespect my property. And you sure as shit don't get to kick my car.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and this comes back to the emotional.
Commented on it going, how sexist, how does your wife feel about this? I'm sitting there going, considering that she runs this camera crew and she's at every show helping him write the jokes and making the videos to post, I'm pretty sure she's fine with it.
Mm-hmm. She's got to edit the shit, so yeah.
Oh, don't even get me started on comedy. We'll be here all night.
Anyway, guys, I've got to go. I've got work to do. Take care, everyone.
All righty.
Have a good night. Honestly, it was nice to see you.
Mm-hmm. Have a good one, Dave.
To see you all too.
I'll see you Friday on the men's room.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks,
The
everybody.
men's room.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a lot of things we had to say about what goes on with how like the system needs to be, like not just fixed, also needs to be ready. Yeah, instead of fixing it, try to destroy the system and rebuild a new one. It's better.
Except it's never better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're idiots. They don't know how to build.
And the thing is like, my God, every time they say, "Oh, a new threat coming," they just want to try and blame a group of people. Like, my God, like we know how the media is. Like they want to blame on video games and then blame it on anime, then also
demon rock and roll music.
And yet, remember in the 90s,
jazz. It's that jazz music.
Remember in the 90s that these parents aren't keeping an eye on their kids on what cartoons they watch, and they blame it on Beavis and Butthead.
It goes well beyond.
The only thing Beavis and Butthead encouraged was stupidity and lowbrow humor. Let's be honest. It did not make people violent or druggies or anything else. It just made them sit there and go, wow, I like that lowbrow joke.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead was a reaction to this shit started back in the 70s when they started whipping out cartoons.
Yeah, let's be honest. By the time Beavis and Butthead came out, the Satanic Panic had been going for a long time. That's not the point. Hush a sec. Let me finish my thought.
Mm-hmm.
The Satanic Panic really started in the late 70s and ran rampant through part of the 90s. The issue is the Satanic Panic was only a modern version of the Puritan movement that has existed since long before the time of Christ. Let's be honest. It just revamps itself in different ways every so many years.
The Inquisition.
We're always going to be fighting this battle. The battle is old as fucking time. People who have no lives, no brains, and no ability to use a fucking brain cell.
That's
are always
true.
going to bitch, whine, and be pains in the asses who are annoying as shit. Now, we were rewatching an old Simpsons episode, and it made Lydia cheer. It had a moment there where Krusty was discovered he was in an old Batman episode, and it led to a stunt that Bart and Milhouse pulled that ended up making Milhouse get sick and throw up on a flag in front of a bunch of veterans. And so they're protesting Krusty, and Krusty the Clown responded with this: "Will you people get a life?"
Yeah, that's true.
Stop corrupting our children. No.
Yeah. And think about this. It's just like if they care about the children, oh my god, he's the same situation thing. Oh, trans kids are important. No, they're not. And the thing is, they're the ones who just groom the kids by
no such thing. Okay.
To be fair to some of them, they actually might care about the children, but they're a minority in the group.
To quote Blair White, a trans kid is like a vegetarian cat. We know who's making the choices here.
And the thing is, that's basically forced sexualization on children, to be honest, if you want to try to make kids trans.
Let me speak here as somebody who had dysphoric issues as a kid. If a kid has dysphoric issues, there's something else wrong, but also you don't know what your body and your mind are going to do when you hit puberty and you change. So stopping it at that age, get counseling, get help. Because doing something at that age, you have no idea what's going to fucking happen when you hit puberty and how much you're going to regret what you've done. Nor do we know the medical side effects of doing this stuff to people when their bodies haven't even developed yet. And yes, can kids have dysphoria? Can kids have mental issues connected to their gender as kids? Yes. Yeah. Does that mean they're trans? Fuck no.
And here the thing is, like
hormones are mind-altering substances. We all go crazy.
And the thing is, people on fetish sites like saying for help, it's better just ask a parent about this or a teacher about this. They'll recommend to a counselor to help. That's the thing, you know.
Oh, what a minefield you just put on it into.
Yeah. But that's why, there's been people calling out this crap.
I posted a link to a video on
why certain people called out Taylor Swift, who she supported, and they're saying, Taylor, this is who you support, and this is what they're standing for. Yeah. You are giving children the chance to do all this crap without mom or dad's, guidance or even letting them know what's happening. That is what you're supporting. Yeah. That is who you're trying to back up. That's why they said, F you.
Now, on my X feed, under the highlights, you'll find it easier. I posted a link to a video, Chloe Cole, interview, and her thing. And it's like, her parents did the best to try and stand up for her. They tried to push back, but the doctors kept pushing this. Oh no, she's transformed. It's transformed. It's actually a boy. You need to go through
saying that word. That word does set off the algorithm.
Well, they kept pushing the thing, and you got to go this and this, or she's going to be, later on. And she was never that way. But they kept browbeating and pushing, and they
I was
kept going on things.
Extremely dysphoric for all of my childhood.
Mhm.
I was extremely dysphoric for all of my childhood.
Yeah.
I was that girl who dressed to try to be one of the boys, who would literally duct tape my boobs down and pray to be a guy.
Since I didn't sell binders back then.
Ego. To be fair, they're a minority probably, but in some of those groups, there are people that do care about the children or whatever it is that the group supports.
Not in a good way. They're psychotic.
One sec. No, let me respond to what he said to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There are people who are misguided who do genuinely care, who think they're helping
That's
people
true.
this way. There are people who think that this helps, but I'm trying to get them to understand. If you really care about the kids who are going through dysphoria, the first thing they need is counseling. They need help, and not a counselor that's trained to make them go and get themselves changed genetically or something.
They should be
They
running out of
need a
business.
counselor that will genuinely help them figure out why they feel this way, why they hate their body.
Like,
Because
more
guess
in a
what? There is
psychological
a
way.
streamline between body dysphoria, gender dysphoria, and EDs and other issues and other disorders that are body related and self-harm and all of that. There is such a freaking streamline. They all come from the same kind of psychological issues and they need help. I'm speaking as the dysphoric girl. I'm speaking as the ex girl. I'm speaking as the voice of experience on this.
That's true.
Trying to coddle the self-hatred and the psychological issues is not going to make them go away. They need actual help and counseling.
Will you wait a minute? Hold on. Like I said, they're starting to do. It's turning more and more. We're talking a lot of undiagnosed autism cases.
And here's the other thing I'm going to say.
There is, because if you're autistic and you're raised that to not understand you're autistic, self-hatred because you can't fit in is extremely common.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And here's the other thing that most people need to realize when they get older. When they get older, they need to look at the realities of what goes on later on in the future if they make their choices in their bodies. And the thing is, like, I know one VTuber I know, Mama Octo, is basically a guy who has gender dysphoria, and what I know about him, or is it her? Because like I say, whatever way. But the thing is, like he found out, or she found, I'll say they, because they found out basically, like the excitement surgery, all this stuff. It's dangerous, and they kind of like forget about it and just do their own ways to cope themselves in a way. I'm just saying.
It's self-harm farmed out to a professional.
Yeah.
It is. And the thing is, again, I was that girl. I was the one helping. Now, again, I'm the one who will sit here and tell you if plastic surgery is purely for you dislike parts of your body, it is also a form of self-harm,
That's true.
But, and to a degree, there is a hypocrisy on those who support plastic surgery and all of that, but don't support the other. If you're going to allow people to say, I can alter and change and mutilate my body to fit whatever, XYZ, then as long as they're adults, you have to let them make that decision. But that does not mean we allow it for people who are under 18 unless there's a medical reason. And for the sex change, there's not a medical reason unless they have very rare conditions, and that has to be done much younger. The medical conditions, you have to do that in their first few years of life or they can kill them.
Yeah.
And if it's not one of those, then leave them alone and let them figure this out for themselves.
That's true.
And let them grow out of it
themselves. That's the thing, because people need to realize how puberty works and all this stuff. But it's like, it's not easy to say it to themselves, but it takes a while to realize.
It's clear we still don't know how puberty works. Okay, we've gotten this screwed up.
Yeah.
Part of our problem as a society is people really think we're a lot smarter than we are.
That's what
humanity as a general is a dumbass fucking species.
Yeah, that's why my thing is, I figured the actual, and the great question of life, the universe, and everything. The answer is 42.
And the thing
I figured the actual question is, how old do you have to be before you finally realize you don't know shit?
Bob.
And here's the other thing is, it's like we know who's behind all this stupidity is because these people who are living in gated neighborhoods never experience how living urban life is, or suburban life is, or rural life is.
I thought part of puberty was hormones.
That's mainly what kicks it off. It's all hormones. And as that, hormones are a mind-altered drug. They go, and we go both on both sides. Go nuts.
We don't fully know what all hormones do to our bodies and minds.
Yeah.
We are still figuring out that science, and that is an extremely complicated science that really should not be messed with. Do not mess with. Now, again, I have also heard people go, well, it's the same thing as taking hormone therapy for PCOS. No, it fucking isn't.
It's like,
and yes, okay, by the way, hormone therapy can be needed for children who have PCOS.
And the thing is,
shouldn't we study some like hormones to find treatments for some stuff?
What we shouldn't be doing is
but that's a
experimenting on
complicated
kids.
issue.
it is a complicated issue.
Let me explain this one here. I have severe PCOS. So does my niece. My niece is very, very skinny. I am not. PCOS is misunderstood. People say, well, it's because of what you're eating. It's because of your weight. No, it can affect those things because it is a metabolic hormone condition. That means it slows your metabolism. It screws with your hormones. It changes your brain chemistry. It makes you react certain ways to food, be it metabolically or mentally. And it can cause eating D. You know what I mean? I'm saying, not saying the word because it sets off the algorithm.
It's because you have a uterus, basically.
And it is caused by a malfunction in how your hormones that run those organs run. So you can be skinny as hell, fat as hell. You can be 13 and you can still need to take hormones to stabilize it and keep yourself safe if you have it. So that's not the same as cutting things off or changing things or fighting puberty to change your hormones. Hormone replacement therapies, for whatever the cause is, are just trying to supplement what you cannot reduce and your body needs to survive. Those are absolutely valid for anybody who needs them medically, no matter your age.
And I'm just saying, these hurts, to be honest, is kind of dangerous in a way, but like there's one troll telling me, oh, take the hurts because, you know, the whole femboy nonsense. No, it doesn't work like that, to be honest.
One, you need to have hormone levels checked before you do anything.
Yeah.
See, where are your levels? If they're normal, don't fuck with them.
Yeah.
Don't start taking large doses of hormones you're not supposed to have. That sort of thing.
And the thing is, you can't force people to change their gender and all this stuff. They need to learn it from their choice, you know, when they get older.
Now, do I genuinely care if somebody adult chooses to go through these treatments?
Are we treading on dangerous grounds? Because it seems like a conversation that would.
And we're being careful here, but one sec. I was trying to make a point and I did not finish it. One sec. Do I care if people do this stuff to themselves if they're an adult? If I can see that they're clearly not psychologically understanding what they're doing, if they clearly haven't had proper counseling to the medical side effects, stuff like that, yes. But generally, if you're over 18, your choice. You do what you want to your body. That's a whole, I don't give a fuck. Choose your way. But children, no. Because they are not developed enough. We don't know what we're doing to these kids long term. We know some of what we're doing to them.
Plus is okay.
One sec. We know some of what we're doing to them with it, and it's causing permanent medical issues. That should never be done for a psychological, and it is a psychological thing. Other than very few rare medical exemptions, most of the stuff in the gender change stuff is a psychological condition being treated with a medical procedure.
And that's true. Also woke parent. No, my child knew when he was 2. Bullshit. Then they take your child away now and sterilize you. You clearly cannot be trusted.
So I'm trying to approach this gently because Bob knows, I do support people who are adult who truly believe in this, who aren't the ones that are using it for political agenda or social stuff like that, who actually have these issues. I support fully. I've been through it. I understand it. But I also am very outspoken about the way that they're manipulated by society and the problems with doing this stuff with children. I am what you would call on this topic, rational center. Give people those choices as adults, but do not give them it without giving them full counseling on everything we know it can do to them medically. And I know way too many who had no idea, whose doctors glossed over it. I know one who was determined to keep telling me, no, my doctors are telling me everything. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. They're doing all the screening and stuff.
And the thing is, I'm going to tell you one thing for sure.
From the treatment. The person went completely insane from the treatment and went nuts on all of us who were long-term friends. Flipped and pushed us away. And completely changed as a person. They do everything now they always hated and opposed. They're unsteady. They're unstable. They're crazy. This wasn't this person before. I've watched people have serious psychological damage from these treatments.
That's true. They have that. And the other thing is like when you're like when you see stuff like this, you have to people need to rethink to themselves like, is it okay if they think that's okay? Oh, is it okay if a minor can go to a bar and get some beer? No. Same thing with going to a tattoo parlor. Same thing going to the whole things that are adults only. To be honest,
with some of the hormone treatment stuff. Is a common side effect them having a side break.
Bob, you've watched me go through hormone therapy and hormone treatments for years, right?
Oh, well, it's vastly amusing. Yeah.
I was going to say, how pleasant am I during it, but you kind of just gave it an indication.
Mm-hmm.
So, or better yet, how many times have you watched me have a meltdown or screaming fit during it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There have been many a times we had to really intervene and make sure you're okay.
And it's not something that I'm doing. It's not something that's my fault. It's literally a medical condition making me insane. But I'm aware of that too, body, and I warn people.
And your body is reacting to it.
Hormone therapy is a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, though, you took in precautions to at least go and do some background on it. Like, is this gonna be safe for me?
Well, and I had to. I have severe.
I wish more people would do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not like I did this by choice because I wanted to change something in my body. I was dying. I was bleeding out for 13 months. I was going through multiple surgeries. I was going through uterus damage. I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
which is understandable, and it's not really your fault here. It's just the circumstances forced your hand in a way.
And like you said, really, you're a medical freak, so that kind of goes.
Yeah. But at least you took the time in that whole nightmare to say, "Okay, doctor, how bad is this gonna fuck me up? Is it gonna fuck me up worse than I already am, or is it gonna help me in some capacity?
Yeah.
What are my options here?"
Yeah, you had to be, and also people need to be educated a thing or two about if they need to think things through before taking stuff like this. If it might get a risk themselves or anything like.
Part of it is we need.
That's
all,
why I'm so.
All actors and things
all
need to be
forms of medicine. I don't care if it's a jab. I don't care if it's a pill. I don't care if you snort. If it's stuck up your butt. I don't care what it is. All forms of medicine have side effects, have risks, have people who can't take them and will not know that until they take it.
And think about this.
Any medicine, including over the counter, without doing your research and without weighing your options.
And think about the other thing is, these people talking about RFID chips and they say, oh, it is kind of like a bit bad if people have them in their bodies because it might rate them and screw them over. Same thing with brain chips.
No one's sticking a chip in my brain. That's for goddamn sure.
I'm just saying.
I want to look something up. I'll do it on the computer. I'm not. No, you're not hooking me up to the hive mind.
There might be a point where it's you don't. I'm not where no one has a choice.
Oh, the fuck they will.
I said there might be.
I will start a colony.
That's when you stand there and go pull the trigger, then bitch.
Yeah.
I'll go into the woods and start a colony of hippies. I think, fuck you. You're not sticking circuits in my kids.
They'll come for you there eventually. Assuming they let you go into the woods.
And then it becomes civil war.
That's true. And the thing is, you had to be careful not to put things in your body which might gonna affect. Like no matter if it's like a medicine that's kind of like has side effects,
We've gone
or if it's
too
like
far down that slippery slope as it is.
We had a moment where I was in the emergency room and we were trying to figure out what to do. We needed to bring my medical reaction. I was having this stuff down. We needed to detox my body, but most meds that are in that category I can't take.
Yeah.
We went through over and over with the doctors for a long time, and we went through all these meds looking for the one that was least likely to react to me. Guess how I ended up? I was literally trying to crawl the walls, scratching my skin, screaming with my blood pressure jacked almost 60 points on each.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
And that's for me. I'm just going to say this. Well, in my situation, since I can't take certain medicines, whatever, because it might affect my liver, which you know why. Because the thing is, if like the thing is, I had my situation. I don't want to take any certain jabs or certain medicines that might could affect my liver, which I don't want to end up having liver failure, like in the down run, which is a problem. Trying to keep myself healthy.
Yeah, I understand that extremely well. I have liver issues myself.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever talked to you about those before.
Yeah.
I have a scarred liver from seizure meds.
And as for me,
yeah,
like my last doctor, like before I met my new doctor, well, he kind of didn't did more research on it because the only thing is I had a substitute doctor, but the substitute doctor didn't help as much about my liver issues. So as soon later on, I found at least a better doctor, which he does a better job, to be honest. And I have a whole group of doctors helping me as well, for any issues.
And that's the thing. Those of us who have a lot of medical issues, we understand we have to be our own advocates. And this is also a reason why we have to start understanding and diagnosing more, and why we need to stop scare tactics. And this is on both sides about certain medical conditions. And they're epidemic or this shit. Do not say we have an epidemic of anything that's a genetic medical condition, because we need proper testing for them. That is not fear mongering to make us people fear us, but also that we're willing to go out and get the testing and get the stuff, because even if it's like autism, Tourette's, and other stuff, they have a correlation to how they cause us to react to different medicines, different treatments, different parts of how we get medical care.
Yeah.
They increase our risk of certain medical conditions, all kinds of things that are needed, just like there is a reason for race in medical treatment, because different races and cultures have different risks of different medical conditions.
That's true.
Which is why it was so egregious when the one clinic decided they were going to change my race to white when I wasn't answering that, because you're taking away all those information that's needed about Native American health issues and Native American care. And what's more egregious is on the same paper that had my albino diagnosis, they changed it to say that I was white.
Ooh.
Excuse you, right?
That's the thing. It's part of the issue is we also need to have all the players in the field know what they're doing and not trying to pull a little, fast one or just be stupid.
That one I still don't understand. How can you? I know that there are white albinos out there, but clearly, the papers had my albinism diagnosis and my tribal ID on it, and then they go, "Yeah, she's white."
That's just dumb.
What?
Yeah.
That is just willfully ignorant.
It's one of those moments you sit there and look at it and go,
And the thing about as I said earlier ago before about these people who think they're better than us, the ones who are living in gay neighborhoods. which they're the ones who've been messing our lives. Because think about this, for example, like we know why with all the housing crisis going on, and we got people recording themselves that they're in a storage unit, and then moments later when they found out, they end up being kicked out of the storage unit because they're too, it's all because of the HOA and these people in gay neighborhood thinking, oh, they don't want people to live in these because like not everyone wants to have like electricity and all stuff. They just want to survive. But the thing is, what we know about is like they want people to pay more taxes to them. That's the issue. And we all have situations why what's going on with the housing crisis. They're the ones who, here's the thing. The politicians who came from gated neighborhoods are the problem because they think they're better than us. They think, how the city is or how everyone's life is better than should work. Like they think, they're better than us. No, they're not. They're just.
I believe the housing crisis is mostly artificial. Is it not?
Not a lot more complicated of a discussion.
Yeah.
And the thing is, here's the thing is, you have to learn this from an army vet who's been to a war and they live into storage containers like this and make them to their houses, You have to learn a lot of things from other people before, everything. Yeah.
But that's not what I was saying. I was saying that I believe that the housing stuff is mostly or partly.
Yeah. And the thing is, here's the thing is, what kind of prevents from people not getting housing is because of property tax and the other forms of tax that kind of trying to make people lose their house.
That's part of, but they don't want them to lose their house, and they don't get the money.
And the thing is, look,
and then the banks have to pay it's more than they do of the houses.
Yeah, okay, Kermit, we get it, but and also fix your mic because it's crumpling again.
Am I wrong though?
Not really much, but the thing is,
there's more to it than that,
And the thing is,
no,
property taxes is one thing.
Not wanting people to leave.
Yeah.
They don't care who pays as long as somebody pays. If somebody can't pay, they'll boot you out and they'll get someone else who does. I don't give a shit.
Here's two things they need to get rid of to make housing cheaper. All right, Kermit. Here's the thing you can make housing cheaper. Get rid of property taxes and get rid of the HOA funds.
Yes.
The HOA funds aren't necessarily needed because the point is, who created the HOA and is it really constitutional to have one? It's not really constitutional.
That's what the fees. Just get rid of the HOAs entirely. They're a little fascist.
And I'm just saying, this is why I don't like the HOA a lot because they're the ones who try to make things worse and try and make people feel bankrupt and all this stuff.
These little wannabe dictators, like my mom's condo. HOA trying to you can park in your own driveway. One guy said, when she starts paying my mortgage, then she can tell me what I can park. Where I can park my truck. And that, fuck you.
I think I'm so fortunate to still be living with my folks at the moment. Just got to pay them the monthly rent, but also help out with groceries, the dog, taking care of the house.
Yeah.
Like right now, they're actually in Alaska right now on a nice cruise trip right now for a while. So they have earned that, especially considering that my father actually is about to retire in August, completely retire. So full-blown retirement. So give a round of applause to my father. So so he's definitely earned that. But, again, right now it's a good life, but eventually they will kick me out in the near future. And when that happens, it's going to be like I got to figure out everything. But
I'm hoping
I think it's a good life right now. I have a good life, but
in about a year, I get a bunch of my Social Security, and I'm going to get in a house. I'm tired of the apartment shit.
Yeah, getting a house is going to be difficult. My sister and her husband, now they have a house and everything, but they have 2 high-paying jobs that can, afford it and everything. But even then, like, it could change within a heartbeat on how things could go forward with the with everything we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Like the younger generation right now are not going to be able to afford a house because everything goes up and up and up and up and up. If you go back in the day, yeah, you could probably afford a house back in the day, but it hasn't gone up by a small margin. It's gone up drastically. There you go. It went up by how much? Yeah, good luck. That's why renting is the better alternative. Because you could probably stay there for a while, look at the contract carefully, and be like, yeah, this could be a good place to just rent out for a while, then move out. My sister has moved out like in Eau Claire multiple times throughout the years. Sometimes she had a nice place, other times she had to be like, stay quiet because we're upstairs, the neighbors are on the bottom. Like, got it. So
yeah,
like, I've seen her live everywhere. Actually, I've seen her live everywhere. So right now she's got a nice place in the community that she lives in. But
yeah.
that took a while.
And I'm just gonna say one thing for sure with the house pricing, it needs to it needs to stop.
The idiots above me,
And the thing is,
swap out every now and then.
Oh, great.
And the thing is, these people who are in gay neighborhoods are the issue. They're thinking, oh, they're better than us. They end up being in charge, and they end up, selling off everything just for big corporations and investors trying to take over. I'm just saying.
When they're home, I don't always, but I do more and more hear them stomping around. Or maybe it's a home gym. I don't know. It's 2 guys.
Yeah, that's why I moved out of the old apartments with me and my roommates, because the upstairs it felt like Rosie O'Donnell was bouncing up and down. That's how loud they were up there. I'm like, is Rosie O'Donnell jumping up and down in there? She's gonna break through the fucking ceiling.
Maybe they're doing.
Maybe she had a Sybian.
But even when I'm upstairs and talking to you guys, go ahead,
maybe they're doing weird stuff with each other.
They don't have a barrel up there, do they? But like even when I'm talking to you guys, my
Did
folks
I
always
sit
like,
on top of my bed above a neighbor that pissed me off and intentionally sit there bouncing to sound like it was sex for 3 hours straight? Yes.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, Joker.
sex.
Go ahead, Joker. Go ahead.
Okay, like even when I'm talking to you guys, my parents might enter my room or the guest bedroom where the computer used to be. They're always like, "Who the hell are you talking to?" I'm like, "These guys." Because sometimes I have to remember that, oh shit, I had the volume up too loud, so I have to turn it down a lot. Or if accidentally Eagle is on one of her big rants, they're like, "Who's ranting up here, my friend?" In a positive way.
Eagle. Bouncing on the bed for 3 hours while doing nothing is a commitment.
That's a good
one. I
one.
may have an evil streak. I don't know.
Actually, speaking of which, my
roommate did. I'm just saying, folks, you're burning calories too. So
my roommate did see one of our Cards Against Humanity games, and she was reading all the answers. Like I had the mic off and everything, and she's like, "Good God, your friends are demented." I like them. She actually likes you guys. She actually likes you guys. So like,
yay!
and she's never met you guys. She's never met you guys, but she's like, you know what? I like these people. Keep hanging out with them.
And I had a crazy neighbor who moved out a long time ago, but I suspect she, and I probably told these stories before. Actually, I did, but she was stalking me or trying to.
Yeah.
There's a simple phrase that is my go-to for dealing with people I don't like. Lick me while I bleed, bitch.
Okay. it censored it cut you off just the right time. That's hilarious.
How many of the guys got it?
I got it.
Okay.
Or I got what I think you were trying to say, but
oh, it's a very, very blunt statement.
But near the end, whenever I was outside, she would come out. So just to see if and I didn't know this at the time, so I stood out. Well, not stood. I sat out all night, and she sat out all night on her porch.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And she tried to record me.
Well.
Audio, but I didn't say anything, so it's just her yelling at nothing. That's a hilarious part.
Yeah, I might have that one looked at if she was my neighbor.
I might have to call certain people I know to get her removed permanently if she's my neighbor. I mean,
yeah, and to be honest, in my old neighborhood, I kind of moved out of there because these people been partying during the warmer seasons. Like they have no control. They end up partying until like 6 a.m. in the morning.
Okay. But that was fun, her yelling at me, and I didn't say anything.
And the thing is, look,
she had a clearly fake phone call.
And the thing is, I'm just saying, these neighbors, they're loud, and they're the ones who've been ruining my time to edit my video or watch my favorite animes or enjoy my game because they've been like blasting like music from another country that they're from. And the thing is, like, my God, I don't want to hear their music. I just want to enjoy my anime or do my conversations, all the stuff on the internet.
I went to the gym. There was a gym at my. Do you want to say something, Eagle?
There's a simple phrase for that. If they're really getting on your nerve, you just look at them and tell them that I really want to help people become better people. So I'm not going to tell you to fuck off. Instead, how can I help you to fuck off?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or practice safe sex, go fuck yourself.
And the thing is, I'm just saying with situations when I want to enjoy my anime and all this stuff without people blasting out loud music that thinking, oh, it's a club there, and like, look, I like living in a quiet residential area, but they want to blast music like late at night and all this stuff. No, fuck that. And even though I moved out of there, and police don't do anything about it.
The complexes should have noise ordinance that they should enforce.
Yeah, but they don't usually enforce them most places. They don't really give a shit as long as you're paying your money.
Yeah.
I think I'd find a sudden affection for Cannibal Corpse with the speakers pointed in their direction.
Well, when I had I had a couple neighbors who were Karens before there were Karens. They were really horrific pains in the asses who didn't know how to shut their fucking mouths. And apparently the wife started telling everyone in the neighborhood she thought I was a lady of the evening because I was always leaving the house in weird costumes. So I did not retaliate to their faces. I also found out that she was having wars with her husband because apparently she was mad because he was looking at me in those outfits.
Mm-hmm.
I was a newlywed at this point. I still had a much trimmer waist and this chest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I didn't retaliate, so to speak. What I did is I figured out sound ordinances, did other stuff like that. And then I just started blaring certain songs as soon as it was no longer disturbing the peace. Like aiming the speakers at their house at 7 a.m. and blaring None of Your Business by Salt and Pepper and stuff like that at them. And just fucking with their lives, going outside in a bikini and barbecuing in the backyard in view of their kitchen, so her husband, shit like that, you know.
I
No, not being provocative at all. No.
Did you record the naughty noises?
You got a hard on. That's your problem, buddy. What are you on?
and then broadcast them towards their house.
No, I don't need to record those. They happen plenty in my house, anyways. I mean,
no, I mean,
no. I heard the war between her and her husband that day, and they moved. Not only this is where I want to say I'm sorry, anime. They didn't just move out of Iowa; they moved to Arizona.
Oh,
where nobody ever walks around in a bikini. No.
Yeah, speaking of bikinis,
I'm sorry,
man,
anime. I didn't know you then. I'm sorry.
Yeah, speaking of bikinis, man, I'm just saying.
One more thing, Shiny, real quick. If it makes you feel any better, anime, he left her a year later, and she ended up homeless out in California.
Oh God.
Oh.
Good. California needs more homeless.
California.
Yeah, I want to maintain that #1 spot. You know.
Yeah.
Jokes aside,
right.
I wonder how that happened.
Long story.
Yeah, speaking about this. Yeah, speaking about this. Well,
did he
like,
get together
okay,
with someone
Kermit.
else?
Let him speak. Let him speak. Kermit, let him speak.
Yeah, so speaking of bikinis in Arizona, well, there was a bikini cafe in Arizona, but I heard about something happened months ago, which I didn't know about. There was one guy kind of like did like a drive-through gooning, and he was caught on that, and he kind of self-deleted himself over this because he got recorded by one of the employees.
Well, if
and
you're going to start doing it in the drive-through, you got serious problems anyway.
And
God's sakes, at least find a bathroom, you fucking.
That seems like extreme to end yourself over recording.
There's another story involving self-pleasure
and let me continue what I say.
and sexual acts. In fact, there's a couple of them. One of them happened in the drive-thru when I was working fast food in college, where apparently this couple was stoned and driving, and drove up to the window. They were both buck-ass naked, and she's sucking him off while they're trying to get the food.
Oh, good Lord, I didn't know that. Holy shit.
This happened at my workplace. And
that was stuff I used to live for.
Handled it.
Right.
The coworker that handled it, I love her to pieces. She literally just leaned out the window and went, "Oh, honey, couldn't you have at least waited for the food?"
All right. Yeah, let me continue what I'm saying because about what happened this incident, right?
All the years I worked McDonald's and Burger, I never got that shit. No, it was
Yeah.
Anyway, let him continue his story. Let him continue his story.
Yeah, this incident about this guy who kind of did a drive-through gooning when he was being recorded, and yet threatened to call the cops on this guy because of what he did. Because it was basically he went on the drive-through to get some coffee from the Starbucks version of Hooters. To be honest, since the female employees are wearing bikinis.
Okay.
And the thing is that gooner who drive through, he's already married and he had a child, and he self-deleted himself over this embarrassing moment.
That seems like a rather extreme thing.
That seems like a him problem. Not saying I don't feel bad that it cost a life, but that seems like a him problem.
Yeah.
Can you imagine those poor girls having a guy doing that in the drive-thru towards them?
Yeah.
And it's pretty much a safe bet. He wasn't built like, Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's very more like
or the waiter I had the other day at Crazy Horse.
And the thing is, he's a married man and he had a child.
No, you don't understand. This guy was buff. He was hot. He was suave. He was dark-skinned native boy, and he kept flirting with me. And every time he bent over, I kept ticking wolf whistles and trying to tick nice ass.
All right.
So you.
Well, let's continue what happened, all right?
Yep, go ahead. Finish your story. Sorry.
All right. The only thing what happened is after this whole incident happened, that he kind of self-deleted on over the situation. There was like a group of gooners trying to do a funeral service in front of the cafe where he went to the drive-through for, and then what happened is they were trying to cause a commotion about him. Then one of them kind of like harassed
He's
the
the
worker over what happened to him to the drive-through gooner guy. He said, "Oh,
You mean a
I can't-
protest?
No,
He
No
said
that's not a
protest.
protest. That's harassment.
Protest.
Yeah, not a
Protests
protest.
are not on private property. If you're at a business and you're not out on the sidewalk by the street, you're
Yeah.
harassing them.
Yeah,
But he said a funeral. That sounded like a protest. If they're
no,
harassing,
really, it's like a funeral meetup. They basically trying to mourn the death of the gooner who still deleted himself over what he went. You know what I said before. And the thing is, this I don't know what's going on with this guy. Like, why he's been
There has to
gooning
be-
lately,
there has to be
which he's married.
other incidents of him doing that. Not just once, or he wouldn't have likely done it over one incident.
Yeah,
No, 10 to 1 things were going to come out about this guy if he was willing to self-delete that quickly and he was willing to do that brazenly around the people. There was worse about this guy that was going to come out.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I said. That's what I was saying, basically.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with it. Because that doesn't add up on just a one-time event.
yeah.
Of course, it could be a one-time event, and
There's still more going on there than just, oh my God, my dick got seen in public. I must, no.
And the thing is, we don't know what's going on with this man lately. Why he's been gooning while he's already married and he had a child. That's one thing, for sure.
Yeah, the whole thing is, I'm sorry, but there's psychology, and you don't instantly go to that kind of level where you would do that and harass people and do it in public as your first act of committing those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Or without having a voyeuristic side or a stalker side and possibly worse. There's more to that than that. Psychology is a thing.
We could do a surface level what triggers were, but there's still more going on there.
And the thing is, he's been gooning at the drive-through when he's the bikini workers, like I say, at the cafe.
Has he been around the Has he been around the playground doing that?
Well,
no, he's been at the cafe.
Well, what
they
he's
took himself
saying
out,
is,
so he's not doing anything now.
This guy was doing this at a cafe. Who's to say? We don't know. Did he do this in other places? Was it just adults that he was harassing and stuff? These are things we don't know.
Yeah.
But the likelihood is that there was something worse that he was doing, and that was not his first time.
And that's why I said the playground. He was hung out around the playground.
I won't say that because we don't know that.
Yeah,
and
we
I
don't
don't
know that
want
either.
to make an accusation that we don't have evidence for that's that severe. But I will say that this is not something you just suddenly do without having done something similar that's not quite as severe before.
Mm-hmm.
And it means there's a possibility he was doing worse, but we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But the point is, we don't. Since he self-deleted himself, we don't know the psychology of what's going on with him. That's the problem.
Well, once investigations are done and they find out more about what this guy was doing, there are ways to investigate a bit of the psychology of his background and why he was doing it. But that you're never going to get as detailed of information as if he was still alive.
Yeah, the only thing they'll do is they'll try to find from witnesses, not just only dead, maybe internet search history as well.
Yeah, because there's at least voyeurism, if nothing else worse. And voyeurism gets really dangerous, and that often involves not caring about other people's safety and privacy.
And that can lead to worse things, can it not?
It can, but I'm going to be leery and not just instantly take the route of saying that he was like that, because this is still somebody who died who has a family that's going to mourn him.
But
all right, I'm gonna get out of here. It's just fun talking to everybody. So thanks for having me.
Have a good night, Silence.
Bye, Joker.
Bye, Kermit.
Yeah.
I was going to say that a while back I was going. This is after the office closed. I was going to the apartment gym, and and there were kids hanging out outside, and I wasn't gonna say or report anything, but then but then they climbed up onto the roof, onto a low roof.
Yeah.
And jumped down the other side.
People are beyond weird and beyond crazy, and it's time we stop pretending that people are not insane psychopaths. And this is one thing where I will say that women have an experience that men do not. Well, yes, some men will get harassed and stuff. Any woman that's public, that has social media, that has any number of things, the amount of creepiness we get on a day-to-day basis is easy to start tainting our view and making us think that that's what men are like.
Yeah.
Because it is insane the amount of these creepy ass comments and videos and pictures and shit people will send unsolicited to us while basically trying to harass us into talking to them, even when they know we're married.
Looking at you, OnlyFans.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking at a few
Brosely.
specific people I won't name who I cut ties with because they literally tried to come on to me backstage after streams.
Yeah. And speaking of, speaking of gooning, guys, the only thing is, I had to be careful not to get manipulated myself, because I got manipulated by a YouTuber, which, I almost got bankrupt by her, to be honest.
That's the one that women do so much. They go after the pocketbook more than the sexual harassment stuff.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not saying either is okay. They're both horrific.
Yeah, and the thing
Why
is,
do you think I cut ties with a bunch of people?
Yeah.
And despite the fact of getting death threats, so
and the thing
But-
is,
leave it at that.
But 1 sec, my comment I was making to that. But while it's horrific what's being done to a lot of these men, and it does play a part of the loneliness epidemic, it does play a part of the male harm.
Yeah.
There's a million factors.
There is 1 sec.
Don't interrupt.
Sorry. I'm trying to finish this thought. I'm really trying to finish it here.
Yeah.
But there is this issue where it's horrific what's being done to these men.
Yeah.
But it's not also the same level as being sent horrific videos, essay threats, or tirades basically trying to force us into meeting up with men for sex or saying we owe them things or shit like that. That stuff's scary.
Yeah.
And the bad news is catfishing happens too.
True.
Not just and the creepier thing is it's happening on both sides.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
People focus on the men's side, but it happens to women as well.
Yeah, that's true.
A good friend of mine who I'm fiercely protecting, she had that happen, but later was proven innocent.
Yep.
Given all the evidence that came out and a confession. So it does happen on both sides, so it's not just the men, it's also the women as well. And we gotta make sure we get that across. Because people just want to ignore it, and they do, and they love to ignore it.
Yeah, they've been ignoring the issues against men, to be honest.
And for the VTuber thing, I only support those who are legitimate. I look to see if they are legitimate. I watch their content.
Yeah.
And there are some that I do support, and then others I don't feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
I specifically told one to go away.
Here's a situation real quick. We are in a society right now where we're in a really, really bad double-edged sword because the anonymity and the disconnection from real life that the internet brings has emboldened some of the creepiest people in the world and people who honestly would be essayists or R-wordists or worse if they were around you in person. But also, we don't know they're not doing this to people, and it doesn't mean they're not doing it. The problem is that in order to protect us from stalkers, we have to not allow people to know who we are online. But that also helps other people who are stalkers target victims with anonymity. So we're in a double-edged sword that's not safe for either side.
And this is the reason why I have my name, and I rarely go on street.
people are crazy, people are creepy, and I tend to hate most people, don't I, Bob?
Mm-hmm.
And I have a history that tells you to hate most people.
Yep.
This is the reason why I don't write the internet's the reason why I don't have my real name up.
Exactly. So, final segment, final thoughts.
Yes, Juice.
Overall, though,
That sums up things, I think.
Yeah, it goes to show just what kind of world we live in, though, and when it goes to show that there's it's on both sides. It's because remember, guys, it's not it's not a left right issue.
That's true.
The issue is it's the same side, which is all of us in here and in chat and our friends, versus the other side, and we don't do what they do on that side. We focus on the here's and nows, and they just scream into the void. And thankfully, and they don't realize there's more of us than there are of them.
Yeah,
and
they're just louder.
You think that some of the creepy people, if not all of them, do some of the stuff that they want to talk about?
Bob, you're such a fucking child. You know that, right?
It keeps me young.
I remember my dad saying, "I will never grow up. I will die being an immature jackass and a child." He did too. But he was a nice one. He was just a sweetheart who was literally in a physical embodiment of a troll. Anyway. Hey, Alchemy, sweetie.
Yes. This gentleman though, he's wonderful.
I'm just gonna say this one thing for sure. You gotta be careful one thing, and at the same time, at the same time, you gotta be aware about look. Like I seen a lot of VTuber dramas lately, like Gunpie. She kind of like kept all the pictures of the guys showing their sausages to her on Discord.
Whoa!
The fans.
Yeah.
That's not.
That's why I say that's what I'm talking about there, Shiny.
Selling her pictures? Come on. All the girls have to do is ask.
I stay away. That's why I stay away from certain VTubers. The only VTubers I really have is a very small group. I'm talking 5 different people. You're one of them. Dash is one of them.
There was a Twitch
and Fado, of course. We can't forget our friend Fado. We can't forget him.
And I am getting rid of the cosplayer name because that's why it's gonna be like a different name as a rebrand.
There was streamers that there was a Twitch streamer. I think she didn't last long. She was fully clothed, but she was broadcasted whatever she was playing to her rear.
Yeah, that's why we avoid these
No, she
people
was fully clothed.
Like crazy.
She was fully clothed.
Clothed or
you can be a suggested one, you're still clothed.
Clothed or not, if the intention is there, then she knew what she was doing.
Out. She just wanted to stand out, I think. Play her game.
Problem is, we're in a very dangerous and unsafe culture and society right now. We just are.
Exactly, because I remember back then we used to walk out into like the cities and everything in the malls. No one bothered us. And nowadays it's like, do I even want to go to the mall? Do I even want to go to the sports arena? Do I even want to go to downtown in general? Do I even want to go down there? Because it's so different now compared to 5 years. 5 years ago, we didn't have these issues. They were there, but they weren't as apparent or as really out there.
Yeah.
And now it's like, and thank God I don't live in a metro area anymore, because
Same here.
the closer you go, and I'm being very careful with what I'm saying here. The closer you are to a metro area, the worse it gets. Like the closer you are, but the further you are away, the better it is. You'll see a difference. Like you see a difference.
There's a constant fight with the one when we were working with the charity to try and find us housing. They were constantly trying to put us in Denver, inside the city of Denver. No, lived in Denver, didn't like it. No, we're not getting back to Denver. Give me the suburbs. I'm happy. Don't go to Denver.
I went to the mall a while back, and I sat down waiting for the rest of my party to do their shopping, and these teens approached me. Trying to get me to do maybe shady shit.
That goes back to what I said earlier. Practice safe sex. Go fuck yourselves.
That goes back to malls.
I of course said no, but and I told them good luck as they walked off.
No, tell them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
I wanted to be nicer so I didn't get hurt.
That's why you need to be armed. I mean.
And I'm gonna say one thing for sure with.
I think if I actually
get back to the mall, in situations, not just only metro cities, we have some people who invade the rural areas and all this stuff. Like what happened is these No Kings protesters invaded my neighborhood, kind of caused the problem, blocking roads, blocking people's paths, and causing traffic.
I don't mind protesters on either side as long as they're obeying the law and not trying to keep people blockaded or out of. If you're violating other people's right to exist, to access their homes, to get medical attention or emergency assistance or anything else, you belong behind bars, and I don't give a shit if somebody runs you over. I'm sorry.
And in the state of Florida,
I'm not sorry.
In the state of Florida, the governor does not say, "Hey, they're blocking. You got no, go, punch it."
And the thing is,
they're blocking the road. That's on them.
Somebody, if you try to keep somebody from being able to drive down a public road, you are forcibly detaining them against their will, and that is a form of felony, and you should be treated as such.
The thing is, they should do it on an open field, not an area where there's businesses around and all this stuff.
Depends on if they have the right permits, if they're following the laws and letting people get to and from where they need to be, and they're not harassing people. There's an absolute validity to protests in crowded places as long as you're doing it the right way.
But if you're blocking the 405 in the middle of the day, you need to be shot. Okay,
in some of those areas, depending on where you are, they could disappear doing that stuff.
I'm not saying a word. I'm a good girl. Oh shit. Wow.
Well, guys, I had fun tonight. We all had fun. We kept everything fairly tame given everything going on. But
we had some pretty intense conversations. We kept really well behaved.
Exactly.
We just maintained we kept the simple faulty rule. Don't talk about the work.
We kept it to social issues, and that's the beauty of it. I am very proud of everybody tonight for keeping the conversations going.
Especially who's here.
One sec, Kermit. Let him speak.
What do you mean by that?
Some people talk about different things.
That's why there's more of us here. Get different views.
What he's saying is everybody did good following the rules tonight. We actually had everybody get a chance to speak. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. I was just making sure I'm hearing this correctly. But anyway, but yes, I get what you were trying to say, Kermit. I get it. And thank you. Yes. But everybody was civil tonight. Thank you again. Not many podcasts would do this. Not many would do this.
We went pretty far on the edge on some of this stuff, but we did it civilly.
Yes, and that's all we can do.
Would be talking politics long before now.
Kermit, you got to let the host wind up now.
And I had fun with the game discussions. I'm glad that we were able to get some people on here and everything. This Saturday we're going to be hanging out with Fatal. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to hang out with him again. I'm sure he misses the hell out of us, and
Yeah, it's true.
he does send his love and everything. And but what me and Eagle can say is, after talking with him, after spending time with him last Saturday, he sounds a lot better, and he's hanging in there for us. So
send him my love this Saturday. I will not be on it all this weekend. Once I get home, and a few days after I get home, Bob, I should start being able to do our streams together again.
Well,
okay.
Well, actually, then we will hold off. I'll talk to Fatal and see if we can do not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. That way,
Saturday.
you are following Saturday. Thank you, Shiny. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll hang out from there. That way you're home. That way you're at least you're home and everything. So we'll push it to Saturday.
The next Saturday.
Next Saturday, not this Saturday. Yeah.
Saturday the 5th, July 5th.
Yeah,
That's
hopefully,
actually good.
Hopefully,
yeah, I'll let him know the
like
date.
if my job doesn't let me work on Saturday, work on a Wednesday, it's fine, which is a good idea. 'Cause, you know,
yes, you're welcome, Alchemy. I'm glad they're able to get you on there. Thank you for chatting in the chat so I can actually do that while it was still fresh in my mind.
Yes.
So this so in terms of everything, ladies and gentlemen, we had a fun tonight. I'm glad that everybody was able to come on and have fun. Thank you to everybody on Twitter, Rumble, YouTube, even though we hate you sometimes.
Also, I linked my Ko-Fi page if anyone want to help me out, to pay off my debt. It's no big deal.
When he says we hate you sometimes, he's referring to YouTube itself, not our fine followers there, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, it's YouTube we have our issues with here and there, but
yeah,
I finally got my Rumble channel going, and I'm actually happy with the growth that's going, and also with YouTube as well. Guys, keep the momentum going. I would love to surpass. I would love to surpass the goals and everything. And also, I am planning out some more stuff. Luckily, though, I got all my financial stuff situated by July 4th. I should be fully back on my feet, given what happened with Khan, with what happened with the scammer issue. I managed to get it all wrapped up and everything, and the person has been legally dealt with. So that's all I can really say on the matter. But I am fine. I'm still standing. Support the wonderful people that come through this channel. They need the love too. And also remember, stay safe, guys. Have fun. Do shit that makes you happy.
That's true.
We will be back again
That'll
next
get
Sunday.
me in trouble.
We will be back again next Sunday. Also,
and I'm firing up Fortnite in a minute here, so
yep, that too.
This
Wednesday, you join me and Joker and Phoenix Press. Phoenix Press is going to be with us this Wednesday night for Nightcast. Lots of topics.
Wednesday, I might be able to be around more, so I'll let you know how I'm doing and try to at least be in chat for you.
Fair enough.
Next week we need to start gloating about Kurtzman not getting his contract renewal.
Oh yeah, that too.
No, we have to do a long stream on that, Bob. We have to do a long stream on that.
Tomorrow night. Let's see. What do I got going tomorrow night? What do I have going tomorrow night? So tomorrow night, let's see. Tomorrow night will be 007 Double or Nothing. Be sure to check that out. Let's get let's get the numbers going, because I am having so much fun doing this, and I am going to be bringing back a lot of games start coming out. July 4th, I am going to be buying the Tony Hawk 3 and 4. I'll be pre-ordering that, and also a few other ones, so stay tuned. Shiny, do you have anything coming up that you want to tell the audience? Anything coming up?
Well, so far I'll be streaming later this week, but also I do have my Ko-Fi page if anyone want to help me out to pay off my credit card debt, and also get my EV VTuber model rig. It won't be that long, it's like this is so much payments I owe, to be honest, not much, it's like
Yes, and also big thank you to everybody for showing up
Yes.
tonight.
You can show the Ko-Fi link, Anime Knives, if it's fine,
Yeah, hang on 1 second. Let me get that real quick for you.
Yeah, buy Shiny a coffee. Come on.
Yeah, buy Shiny Coffee. Damn it. Anyway, there you go. Got that out there. There's the link right there. Be sure to check out Shiny's channel, check out Captain, check out Eagle Rider, check out everybody's channel. We're doing what we can to promote these people. We're doing what we can.
Also, I'm
Sorry,
still
guys,
stuck over 1,000 subscribers, but I need to get to 2,000. It's been like how many years? A few years. They didn't increase my subscriber count.
I've been at this for how many years now? And I'm up to 1387 right now. Okay.
By the way, the
in
channel
the 2000 range at least.
Yeah.
By the way, last month was the 7-year anniversary of my channel, so I had a lot of fun celebrating that. Had so much fun. 7 years and so much later. I want to pass. I know I'll get to 1,000 eventually, but luckily we got the watch hour threshold done. We're at 4.5K public watch hours. So keep it going, guys. I would love to do more and everything. I would love to do more and keep it going. Also, anything helps the channel where you're in the chat, liking, sharing, commenting, super chat, super sticker, whatever it is. It helps the channel a lot, get the algorithms going. Would love to see more of that with all my other friends. Anyway, guys, we're out of here. Take care, everybody.
Later, guys.